Welcome, my little couch potatoes, to the comfiest courtroom on the internet. I'm your host, Llama, and it's time for dramatic testimony, overruled objections, and absolutely unqualified opinions. So grab your snuggiest blanket, some delicious snacks, and get ready to watch court with your internet besties. This is Couch Court with Llama. Hello, good afternoon, couch potatoes. For some of us, this is stream 2 for today, as we just wrapped up listening to Brooks Houck's jail phone calls and an interview with Joseph Lawson's attorneys after the verdict. So that's how we spend our morning, but maybe you're watching us in the future. So let me just catch you up real quick on what we're watching now, which is going to be Kentucky versus Steve Lawson. Now, this trial happened a month before Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson being Stephen's son. Now, if you watched my very extensive deep dive, I actually did cover this whole trial because this was not televised. They've only just released the videos from court like 2 weeks ago. So we've been working our way through that. So this trial is not a live trial, but it is also still new because nobody else really saw it. Now, I did do the deep dive into this trial, and you might be like, oh, but we already watched Brooks and Joseph. Do we really need to watch this one? Isn't it going to be the same? No, it's actually not going to be the same. And just because you read stuff in the media, you should always want to see stuff with your own eyes and hear things with your own ears, instead of just taking everybody's word for it. And that's not me knocking the media. I mean, they had very good journalists in there, but some things you just can't convey. For example, a lot of the witnesses we saw in Brooks and Joseph's trial were like, ooh, on paper, they don't sound as bad as it was watching them. So there are going to be witnesses that we did see in the other trial, but there's also going to be a lot that we did not see or hear from. And I'm curious as to why that is with someone, but we'll get to that conversation when they do pop up. So first, let's say hi to our chatters. Lady in Gray, the portal didn't work for you. I'm so sorry. But welcome. Dave made the trip. Good job going through the interwebs to find us again. Angie got lost. Angie, you're always lost. Just kidding. And Simone, hope you're doing great, babe. In the 10 minutes since we saw each other last. Oh, there's Pam. Hey, Pam. Hope you're doing good, babe. So we're going to start Stephen Lawson's trial day 1. It looks like it's a total of, it's going to be about 4 hours, you guys. Because the first thing we're going to watch is this motions hearing. Now, again, if you did not watch my deep dive, that's fine. I get it. It's like 35 hours long or something crazy like that. But Steve Lawson's attorneys had only been on this case since the end of last August. Okay, so they kept trying to push this trial because they had just got put on because Stephen fired his lawyer. And so these two were assigned. He didn't hire these guys. They were assigned to his case. And they're like, yo, we've only been on this case for a couple months. There's hundreds of thousands of documents, hundreds of hours of footage. Like, we can't give a good defense if we can't get an extension. And the judge is like, sorry, which I strongly disagree with that ruling. But what are you going to do? It's been a while. You look great. Thanks. I just woke up looking like this. There's Elbow Feed. Hi, babes. Welcome back. So let's get into it. Oh, also, in case you didn't know, we're just going to cover day 1 today. And then we're going to take a break tomorrow. I'm going to take the day off. And then we'll be back Monday at 10 a.m. to do day 2. And this will go through Wednesday. So they'll just be short days, like 3 to 5 hours each day. But anyway, I did for this first one, though, we do have to switch between streams. So we have to start, you remember the two news stations that put this out. One has the really crappy one, and the other one's very crisp and clear. I think we start off with the crappy one first because they actually covered the motion hearing that started right before picking the jury and all that, which I think is very important to hear. So that is what we're going to start off with, friends. Yes. Oh, Simone. Everybody be like Simone. She's fantastic. Be like her. Hit that like button. Let everybody know that we're live again and that the party will be here today. All right, let's get into this, shall we? We got this view. Oh, that's me again. There we go. And I made a cute little banner so people know what's happening. And so yeah, we'll be doing quick motions hearing and then opening statements. And then I think on the stand is Sherry Ballard is the very first witness. I know that. And then I think Detective John Snow follows her. And then that's all they do for the day because they had to like pick a jury in the morning and stuff. So that is what we got. All right, let's go, kiddos. Stay until we're done. Because they had this in a whole different courtroom than where the trial actually is.
Make sure they're not upstairs on the fourth floor of the attorneys.
Oh.
7877.
Let's move this up a little bit. And you know what? We can zoom through this. Why not?
Okay.
The attorneys were on the wrong floor. Because for some reason, they're in here.
Room has been configured.
There we go.
Before we go any further, one thing that I need to let the jury know about, and I haven't gotten a real answer to this, I don't think up to this point from counsel, is what is the expected length of this trial? Because I need to let the jury know today how long approximately we're going to be here.
Judge, we believe the Commonwealth will be done Thursday afternoon, Friday morning at the latest.
We would do our darndest then, Judge.
Where's Kelly P? Because I think
So
she may like this lawyer.
If we start on Friday morning, I know how keeping a jury over the weekend is, and we would do our darndest to wrap it up Friday and let them deliberate, send them out to deliberate on Friday.
what I'll do then is I will tell them Monday just to add in an
That's
extra
very
day.
safe. I think this is
Because I'd hate for somebody to be having a vacation or leaving Sunday and then we've got a juror problem. So I will tell them it's a 5-day trial. We believe may finish sooner.
I think we get to hear
Let them know
sidebars in
that.
this one too.
As far as the number of alternates, does council have any suggestion as to how many alternates they think we need on
I would
this
say
case?
2.
2, of course, is standard, Judge, and I guess it depends on how difficult our next part of this is, which is how difficult is it to get people. I think maybe out of an
Yes.
abundance, let's do a
Teresa,
3 perhaps.
the blonde.
If we can find 3. If we can't, then I think the default to 2 is appropriate.
Okay, so if my math's correct, we'll need 37 chairs upstairs, Jim. We need 37 chairs for jurors to be called out today. All right.
We're not going to
One
watch
thing I
jury
want to talk
selection.
about is I don't want
guys.
to take counsel by surprise. Typically, when I try a case, at some point, I'm going to ask both sides to identify any witness that you may call at this trial. You'll read your list out to the jury. Obviously, I want to make sure that we don't have any juror that's related to any witness. I want to make sure there's not a witness a juror would automatically believe or disbelieve before they heard their testimony. I know there were some pretrial motions filed. There's been some discussion in chambers earlier today, and I believe, are we in agreement?
We're in
that
agreement.
The
We're not
motions.
going to have an objection just based on the conversations we had to their 2 months.
But yes,
There
in the
were
black
tender
pink
orders
shirt.
for those, so I will go ahead and sign those.
That's
Is there
his wife,
any other
Teresa.
motions or matters from the Commonwealth that I need to take up at this time?
No, sir. We would invoke the rule, but we can do that later.
Okay, I'll show that the rule is being invoked, so there should be no witnesses in the courtroom that'll be called at this trial. Anything the defense wishes to address at this time?
And I'm assuming you're talking globally, any and all
Yes, sir.
motions.
Yes, anything you want to address?
The only reason I'm asking is, of course, the courtroom that we're headed to after this. I don't know as far as recording. Did you want to take up the more substantive motions upstairs? For example, I'm asking for a continuance today, of course. Do you want me to do that here? Or do you want me to go upstairs?
Let's do it here.
No.
I'd rather we do all this outside the presence of the jury. So
Very well, sir.
you go ahead.
Judge, as you know, we had previously filed a motion to continue. We are asking again for a motion to continue. We're filing it
Kelly P, where
verbally
are you
here
at,
in front of Your
girl?
Honor. We're going to stand by the basis of the things that we put in the previous motion in writing. And we're going to let the court know that, of course, something that you already are well aware of. Mr. Buckler and I were appointed to this case in August of 2024, and we have been working diligently in order to prepare. We have done what I believe is anything and everything possible to be prepared for the defense in this case. However, I'm just going to tell the court that as we stand here today, we have not been able to review everything. We just simply have not. And I know our client is in the same boat. He's not been able to review everything as well. We, knowing what our marching orders is, and me having been an attorney for quite some time, I read it loud and clear what you said last time as far as going to trial, and we're going to do our darndest. We're going to do the best we can for our client. But as we stand here today, Judge, we simply are not prepared. And we're not prepared because we simply did not have enough time. And that is based primarily on the amount of discovery that,
Crazy.
is voluminous in this case. It is overwhelming. And so based on that, we are renewing our motion to continue. We expect, of course, to go forward today, and we're prepared to do that. But for the record, we want the court to be very clear that we do not feel adequately prepared to represent our client.
What is it that you have not reviewed?
Well, there are one thing that the court probably, I'm assuming the court hasn't reviewed the discovery, of course.
No one provides the court with the discovery.
Right, of course not. Yes, of course. So having not reviewed it, Judge, I can tell you there are tangential issues that relate to other individuals in this case. Specifically, there are issues related to Nick
They've
Houck.
only been on it for
There's
8 months,
issues
though.
related to Brooks Houck. There are issues related to Jason Ellis. And all of those issues, we believe, quite frankly, are intimately involved in this particular case in order for the jury to get a complete and total understanding of what transpired here. The reviewing the discovery related to all of those individuals would be required. And quite frankly, we haven't even found yet in the discovery any of the information related specifically to like the Jason Ellis situation. We have not been able to find that. So knowing that
I really want to
quite
know
frankly,
what's
the
in there
court had
about
ordered us
Jason
to go forward,
Ellis.
and we were still not able to review all the discovery that we had. We haven't even asked for any of the Jason Ellis material. Haven't even asked for it. And I will tell the court that methodically what we have been doing, and the court is aware of this, we have a defense team in place, and that defense team is assisting us in essence, parsing through all of the paperwork, because I will admit there is a vast majority of the paperwork that we have found so far that is not even relevant. It's just not relevant, Judge. So,
see, that was my understanding. Only about 5% of this discovery is probably been relevant to this proceeding.
Which is
That-
wild.
and I don't disagree with that.
That means there's a
I
whole
agree
lot of
with that.
nothing.
I mean, I know you want to look into Jason Ellis, but nobody has ever solved Jason Ellis, and I don't think anybody's going to solve it here during this trial either. So
I understand that, and I understand the court's position on that, and I would expect Mr. Young to say exactly the same thing. The point is, though, Judge, in order to know what 5% is relevant, you still have to look at all
he has
the
the
other
court-appointed
95% to get there.
defense attorneys.
And
Both
we
of
have
them.
relied on our team the best that we possibly can for them to bring to our attention the issues that they believe are relevant and important. And they have indicated to us that they are not even complete with the review. So for you to say which, and you didn't ask this, so I'm not implying that you did, but I can't tell you, oh yes, just disc number 5 that they provided to us, we have not reviewed that. I can't be that specific for you. All I can tell you is that our team that is parsing through this material has indicated that they've not even reviewed the entirety of the material as we sit here today.
and the Commonwealth's position.
And Judge, we believe the case should go forward today. The vast majority of what the jury's going to hear in this case was provided by the defendant himself, and which they know. I don't know what, if there's anything in discovery related to Ellis, or there's maybe tangential mentions of that case because they were being investigated at the same time, but there shouldn't be any discovery as it relates to any substantive issues as it relates to Jason Ellis. The Commonwealth agrees the discovery is voluminous. A lot of it is duplicitous. There's 70-page search warrants that are probably, there's upwards of probably 40 or 50 of them.
Jeez.
They're really easy to go through. They all read the same. While the discovery is voluminous, we believe that it's wasn't insurmountable, that the defendant knows what he's admitted to. The defendant knows what the case is about. There was approximately, there's probably 10 plus hours of grand jury testimony laying out this case, given the roadmap for what it is, and we believe that the case should proceed forward.
And just a brief response, Judge. Of course, Mr. Young knows his case and he knows what he plans on presenting. And I understand from the Commonwealth standpoint where if we were told in the Commonwealth of Kentucky beforehand exactly who witnesses were going to be, what the roadmap was that the Commonwealth was going to be doing and where they were going to go in a case, that would have helped us absolutely pare down our review of the discovery in the case. But as you're well aware, it's not how it works in Kentucky. I had no idea until he literally just said it on the record that they would be done most likely on Friday. So I had no idea if they were calling 30 witnesses or if they're calling 5 witnesses. No idea. So that puts us in a position as we review the discovery to have no idea whether it's going to be 30 or it's going to be 5. Therefore, we're obligated to review every single bit of discovery that's been provided to us. And Mr. Buckler has given me some more specifics. There's over 400,000 pages of written material, 400,000 pages of written material. And that's not even talking about the hundreds of interviews that have been recorded and provided to us in just a simple recorded format. So it's just it's not only near impossible, it is impossible. And we simply have not been able to review it all. It's that simple.
And as I understand it, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding of Mr. Lawson's portion of the discovery is basically what occurred at the grand jury and what was made public earlier. Now, I think all the other stuff is investigations of other matters. And am I wrong in that?
No, sir.
But Judge, we have, from a legal standpoint, we have an absolute right to pursue alternate perp. That's a huge area in Kentucky law. And a large number of the people that they're interviewing and going out and talking to, those theoretically fit into the category of alternative perp. So if we could just completely compartmentalize the idea of all of this stuff just belongs to Steve Lawson, I would agree with Your Honor that it does pare it down significantly if we're able to do that. But that's not realistic in this case. That's not what's happened.
Especially with a conspiracy charge.
Judge, this has been we're going on 10 years now, 10 years of investigation. And to think that we could be prepared adequately to defend our client in the short period of time that we've been given, we're marching on, Judge. We're standing here now. We're in our suit and we're in our tie, and we're going to do what you tell us. But we do have to preserve the record that we simply believe we've not been given sufficient time, and we do not believe that under these circumstances that Mr. Lawson's going to get an adequate and fair review of the discovery so that he can put on a full and complete defense in this matter.
This might be good for appeal.
The jailer has allowed him a lot of time to go through the discovery. It's my understanding Mr. Lawson has finished reviewing it at some point, but he didn't care to keep reviewing it further also.
Well, to that regard, Judge, the issue with that is if our team can't even review the entire discovery, a team of defense people, do you really think that him getting the discovery given to him in digital format by a jailer who decides when and where to give it to him is going to be sufficient for him to review his own discovery? I mean, I think that was, and trust me, Judge, I am not saying that we don't appreciate the fact that happened. Absolutely do. I'm used to Jefferson County where it's near impossible for somebody to get access to a laptop, even if they want to review their discovery.
Sure, I've never heard of that before.
So while I'm very thankful that happened, it's still, unfortunately, with the amount of discovery, was insufficient to allow him to review it in its entirety. That's just not, it was helpful, but it wasn't a complete and thorough review of this discovery.
Anything else to comment?
No, sir. Just my understanding is just based on what the jailer, Justin Hall, told me that on some occasions, Mr. Lawson just refused to go look at it. And he told me he could have as much time as he wanted to look at it.
anything else?
Judge, I continue with the statement that we said before, which is the amount of time that he's been provided, while appreciated, the fact that an individual may say at one point in time, you know what, I'm not in the mood today, I don't think that completely derails the idea. And now you say, well, you know what, if you would have had that extra, and I think it was 2 times that he said that. And if you said that 2 times, what are we talking, maybe 6 hours? I think in the totality of what we've got going on here, which is that he reviewed about 50 hours of material, the idea that he didn't review something for 6 hours because of whatever mood or situation was going on at the jail at the time does not outweigh the whole totality here. And it doesn't mean he wasn't interested in his discovery. That's just not what it means.
Well, I know I've given the defense investigator, paralegals, all kinds of added help to get this case ready for trial. I've seen matters that have been submitted ex parte where it appears that the investigator has worked on the case, has prepared a defense. So many of the matters that you're talking about are so completely irrelevant that's in that discovery that went on for 10 years. I think the entire roadmap comes from what was presented to the grand jury in this case. I believe we've had sufficient time, and I believe if we just keep going through all of this extraneous material, we're just spinning our wheels. Certainly you have preserved the record on that issue, and I know that has been.
I do strongly disagree with that, Your Honor.
Today with this trial. Yes, sir. Anything else we need to take up?
You haven't seen the
No,
discovery,
no.
so how do you know it's irrelevant?
We do the separation of witnesses upstairs, I assume, and the standard. It sounds like we're in agreement then on the motions in limine. Is that correct? Do we need to, you're just going to sign the orders as written. Is that correct?
Let me see what I've got here.
Just want to confirm that covers it. I know we have an understanding, but maybe we need to, before any particular witnesses go on, maybe we need to talk about it again.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay with that?
Yeah, 10 years for the state investigating and all of that. And no, there isn't a statute limitations on murder. I don't know statute on conspiracy to commit. I imagine conspiracy to commit murder is probably like murder. I think anything related to murder probably is no limitations. But as he said, they were like, oh, 5% of all this discovery is relevant. That's crazy. To have all of this other discovery and none of it matters, that really says a lot. A lot.
So, frankly, this one, just to be blunt, Your Honor, this may be overarching and overreaching, because I do believe there is some relevance to the statement that his mother, or that the witness's mother is deceased, which is what you anticipate doing, right? I think that would, if you read that on its face, it would exclude that ability to do that. And I'm not saying that.
No, I think I'll go over with witnesses again. We
You'll
can
be good other than saying she's deceased.
That's fine.
That's what the
Yes, sir.
Yes, if you guys didn't know, Stephen Lawson was officially sentenced yesterday, which was a surprise. I didn't realize it was the same day, but he did. He got exactly what the jury recommended, which was 17 years for murder and 5 for tampering, but concurrently. So.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Give me 1 second here. It's in my stack here. Here we go. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Mike Abadi. I am counsel for a number of media interveners, including WAVE, WHAS-TV, WLKY, WDRB,
Oh, these are always
and the
interesting.
Courier Journal. I know you have a busy morning, so I'll keep this brief. The media petitioners are requesting that this court modify its pretrial media access order in one regard, and that is to permit a single pool camera to record the proceedings in a manner and subject to the rules that this court would set forth that would be minimally disruptive, but would allow the media to keep the public fully informed of all the proceedings that are going on in this case. We proposed some procedures that have been successfully used in other high-profile criminal matters, and we think that allowing a single pool camera would allow the media to keep the public informed of an already public trial that is already being recorded by the cameras that will be in the courtroom. We understand the court's desire to minimize any disruption to the trial, and my clients are prepared to abide by any reasonable restrictions the court would have. But we think allowing a single pool camera would best balance the court's interest in orderliness and the public's interest in understanding what is going on within this trial every day.
And the Commonwealth's position.
Just briefly, Your Honor, we don't really believe they have the right to intervene to begin with. And that's based on the fact that the court has not closed the proceedings. The court left the proceedings open to the media. They can report on it.
Why don't you want all of Kentucky to know
They'll
these
just have to
things?
get on the
Shane?
news,
Hmm?
talk about it. But I do believe, I've always had a problem with cameras in the courtroom.
Of course you have. I'm
And
sure you
the
have.
reason why is I don't know how you maintain separation of witnesses. It doesn't matter. It's no different than watching a witness, watching another witness's testimony on TV versus sitting in the court. That's why we invoke the rule. We invoke the rule so witnesses won't be influenced by other witnesses' testimony. And the simple fact, the media, I don't believe the media cameras should ever be allowed in court. But the fact is and during trials, because I don't think there's any way you can guarantee separation of witnesses when it's on 4 channels at 5, 6, 7:30, and 11. That would be the argument on that.
That's not how streaming trials works, but sure.
Judge, we don't. As we stated, I believe in either email or response to the motion, we're going to leave it in the sound discretion of the court. We don't care either way.
And I know there were co-defendants involved. I don't know whether counsel wishes to speak on their behalf today or not.
Judge, obviously, I'm not standing in this, but it's an amicus situation in front of the court. I agree with Mr. Young. I think this case has got a tremendous amount of publicity. I think it's very difficult for us to have separation of witnesses. I think Shane's exactly right. It was simply asked for the purposes of today that our opinion be considered on behalf of the Commonwealth.
That's Brooks'
That was
attorney.
Mr. Butler, who represents Mr. Houck. I don't know if anybody's here today on behalf of Joseph Lawson. Mr. Lawson's counsel said they were also opposed to this also. Okay, anything else? Mr.
I just want to briefly respond. I understand the Commonwealth's argument, but that's an argument for closing the entire trial, which the Constitution does not permit. There will be daily reporting on this. There is a video available to anybody at any time to go get. This is going to be a public trial. Concerns about witnesses are inherent. We've cited cases saying that that's part of the price of the First Amendment and the access
I mean,
to
how many
public
do
court proceedings.
we
As
want?
far as a subsequent proceeding, the way to deal with that is by more searching voir dire in the second case, because somebody could read or watch coverage of this trial as it unfolds. That will be happening. The incremental effect of having a pool camera isn't going to change that basic calculus. That's going to be there already. So we think that the pool camera is a reasonable way to allow the public to be up to date and more informed without creating any incremental risk beyond the public trials already going to create.
Mr. Abadi, I have estimated that I have heard 30,000 cases in my 22 years of being a judge. And I have allowed a camera at every proceeding except for this case. So I have had 30,000. It's 29,999 you can bring a camera to. I've had a lot of high-profile cases. I had Stanley Dishon in Bullitt County. I had 3 mayors who were attempted to be removed. Horse Cave, Hodgenville, Bardstown. I've had a lot. I had Steve Nunn down in Houck County after he was arrested in the cemetery there with a gun that they charged him for wanton endangerment. I've had a lot of high-profile cases. But I've had nothing that compares to the circus-like atmosphere of this case. You can add all the others together, and they don't add up to what I've had to endure in this case. It would be nice if I were a judge in a big city where there's a lot of other judges. Back when they tried O.J. Simpson, all the other judges helped Judge Ito, and he just had that trial. When you're a country judge like me, there's nobody that's helping me out. Last week, I had
Okay.
211 motions and hearings plus drug court. And during every break I took, I was inundated in requests from the media, from the circuit clerk's office in Bardstown, from the judges down here. The security team down here was having questions. It got so bad that I did an order to give them reserved seating in hopes of settling down what I was putting up with while I was trying to conduct court. I'm exhausted, and the trial hasn't even started.
Where was the witness stand?
And a lot of that exhaustion is related to the circus-like atmosphere of this case and the constant telephone calls to my office, to the clerk's office. In fact, my clerk in Nelson County said she could use a full-time position last week just to respond to all of the media inquiries we were getting. I mean, it was brutal for everybody involved. And
I'm sorry, Your Honor, but this literally happens all the
we've
time
got issues in this case
in small counties too.
and let me say this. There's a lot of important cases where there's not cameras in this country. You know, we had somebody running for president of the United States, and there were
Right.
4 cases that I can think
Sorry.
of: trial for falsifying business records,
Linda Ford, okay. Hey,
trial where
babes.
someone was claiming
Long time no
sexually abused
see.
them and defamed them,
Hope you're doing well.
federal indictments in Miami, federal indictments in Washington, D.C.
They did move this
None
trial.
of those were on television.
This is not taking
Talk
place
about
in.
some good theater. Sean Diddy Combs case right now. That would be good theater to see every night on TV.
We can't watch federal,
There's no
of course,
cameras in those cases either.
because they're federal.
And one
Which
of
is
my
BS.
true concerns in this is I have had orders violated in this case that I had entered trying to keep this from being a circus-like atmosphere, where I had an order that said there was to be only 1 camera in the courtroom. I look over and people in the media are holding up phones, iPads, filming what's going on. I had an order entered that there was to be no live streaming. I'm having attorneys tell me, well, I watched your hearing, I was watching it being live streamed. I was like, it was live streamed. I don't know how this all works, but
Well, good.
people were watching this on live stream. We got an order that it wasn't to be live streamed.
Thank you, Dave, for the 5
We
gifted
have
memberships.
a bunch of
Congrats
witnesses
to our
in
new
this
members.
case who will
Thank you
probably be
so much, Dave.
testifying in the co-defendants' cases. And the last thing I need is this thing being live streamed while people are watching the trial on their phone while they're supposed to be waiting to testify. It's going to clearly
Why you put in
involve problems with
orders?
the rule. If I end up with the next case where these things are on TV and they're seeing people's testimony, it's going
What'd
to
you
have an
get?
effect.
Did Michael
really
Green Chili
complicate
Chicken get
the
one?
fairness of the proceedings.
You being a good
This case
shot.
wants both sides to have a fair trial.
It doesn't
And
show me on my end who gets
That's
them,
my
so
primary concern in this case. And the jury does not need the distraction. The jury needs to be focused on this case. And I know I need to be focused on this case. I don't need to be sitting out there when I'm trying to listen to the evidence, trying to rule on the objections, having to police the media.
I'm sorry, but
A rule that's simple, if none, lets all the bailiffs know what to do, and everybody's on the same page. And I'm not picking on the media. Like I said, I've let them have a camera. Unlike Mr. Young, I've let them have a camera every time I've had a case, except for this one. I hope they understand my predicament. But I'm going to deny the motion here. I'll show that you have a right to intervene. I'm fine with that. If you want to file it, read,
I'm not going to talk so much smack because he did release all these, but sir,
Okay.
Thank
counties
you
across
for hearing our motion, Judge.
America do this.
Nice to
It's
meet you. All right. We will be
Okay.
moving upstairs to start the jury trial.
all right.
It's my understanding everything should be outplayed on the
Now.
TV cameras here where you can watch and observe what's going on down here. So we'll start upstairs shortly. Okay.
Only the jury.
Thank you. Please be seated.
Okay. So
Good
we're
morning.
going
It's
to
time
we're going to switch to the better feed. That is much more visual. They just didn't have the motions hearing, and I just wanted to play those, for somebody who didn't watch when I covered this trial with no video. That way they were kind of caught up with us here. So let's switch to the much clearer picture. Look at the difference. It drives me crazy. I don't understand. Okay, so, and again, thank you so much, Dave, for the gifted memberships, and congrats to all of the members. the new members, if you want to be gifted a membership, because our chat is very generous, you can go to join, click that. You're going to see 3 buttons in the top right, 3 little dots, I mean, in the top right. Hit that, and it'll say like turn gift memberships on. So that's always something you can do. It's totally random. People are picked randomly by YouTube. Nobody gets to pick them. So Simone says that's a social norm nowadays. All the propaganda that we have to filter through, knowing it's all to influence the masses. Yeah, I mean, that's why I think transparency is the best. I also think it says a lot that Shane doesn't like cameras, and I wonder why that is. But anyway, so let's get into opening statements, shall we? I am very excited to hear from Stephen's lawyers.
We're going to start court, please.
I feel like they have more personality than the other ones. I would like to see them argue other cases, really, but all right. I'm going to say things. It's a surprisingly empty courtroom. Oh, hello, Sherry. Hello. Good afternoon to you. Oh, you must have been one of the gifted members. Congratulations. So happy to see you pop in chat. Don't be a stranger. They're very friendly in there. Not to brag, but I think they're the best chat on the internet. But I am biased, so. Oh my goodness. Where am I starting here? Okay. We'll just. There we go. Thank you for the super chat, Dave. And snacks for Llama. I'm re-upping my snacks this weekend, so thank you for the snack fund. Because I have been short on snacks.
It's the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. Crystal Rogers was last seen on July 3rd of 2015. She's the daughter of Tommy and Sherry Bauer.
Oh, they had a whole different presentation.
She was
Okay.
born in 1980, was 35 years old at the time that she disappeared. She disappeared late in the afternoon of July 23rd, or July 3rd of 2015. It was on a Friday evening. Her daughter, Kyla, was the last person out of anybody indicted in this case to see her alive. Kyla was at home waiting on the grandmother to pick her up when she left with Brooks Houck.
Again, I want to know, did she see
She had
her mom's
5
car?
kids. Ashley, Kylie, Tori, Trenton, and little Eli. Eli was about 2.5 years old. Eli was the baby of Brooks and Crystal. Crystal was living with Brooks in Glenview subdivision, and she also worked for him. She was still married to Keith Rogers, and you're going to hear testimony that Keith nor her could afford to get divorced.
Did they cover it? They didn't
Crystal's
cover all
car
this
was found
later.
abandoned on mile marker 14 of the Bluegrass Parkway on the late afternoon of July 3rd, 2 days after she was last seen. To this day, she's never been heard of nor seen. She's been missing. Crystal's car, as I told you, was left on the Bluegrass Parkway. This is Bardstown over here. The Bluegrass Parkway runs between Elizabethtown and Versailles.
Fine, I guess. Do work, Michael.
She was towards Elizabethtown, westbound, on the westbound lanes, going towards Easttown.
Wow.
Mile marker 14.
I'm honored, Terry. Over Keith. Wow.
The car
Thank you.
had a right rear flat. And then you'll see pictures where they've driven on the road with the flat for a little while. In her car, there was a cell phone, her purse, and her keys in the ignition. That was the only signs only personal items connecting her with the car being out on the bluegrass. Brooks Houck. He had a 2.5-year-old child, Eli, with Crystal.
I'll
He and
keep my
Crystal
face
lived
up to
together.
cover up
He
his stupid face.
builds houses and also has a rental house business. He was the last person to have seen Crystal Rogers. Holly was the last person who's not been indicted to see when her mom left that night with Brooks.
Why would
Defendant was working for Brooks Houck. Steve Lawson, the defendant, was working for Brooks Houck doing bobcat work. He worked for Brooks Houck. He was married to Tammy Lawson. You're going to hear testimony from some of the other workers, some of the other people, that there was some unusual behavior going on, something out of the ordinary that they normally don't see from Brooks Houck. He was riding around the truck with a worker, this man who had just began to work with him.
shocking?
You're also going to hear that on July 4th, right after midnight, into July 3rd, into the 4th, about 7 minutes after midnight, there was a 13-second call from Steve Lawson to Brooks Houck.
And if you don't know, Steve does take
Steve
the
Lawson
stand, you
hangs up
guys.
that phone,
Like an idiot, but
and you see his phone start moving. And it drives to approximately 14-mile mark on the Bluegrass Park for Crystal's car. Steve Lawson's son, Joseph Lawson, he was also an employee of Houck. Before Steve Lawson called Brooks, he had received a call or talked to Joey Lawson. Talked to him for 2 minutes and 58 seconds. Hung up from Joseph Lawson, and that's when the 13-second call was made to Brooks
I
Houck.
love that.
And you're going to hear his explanation, multiple explanations, of what that phone call was about. Rosemary Houck. Rosemary Houck was Brooke and Nick Houck's mother. She lived on the farm, and you'll hear that her and Crystal didn't get along very well.
Nope.
The plan. First week of July, there was unusual activity that I told you about. Steve Lawson riding around with Brooks Houck. Brooks doesn't ride around with employees. There was one employee he rode around with, his son Danny Singleton. But it was unusual, you're going to hear, for him to be riding around with an employee that week. Usually he would stop, drop off nails, drop off whatever equipment they needed, and move on to the next house. According to the defendant, he had just began working for Brooks Houck. There was one worker named Stacy Cranmer. Stacy worked with a guy named Kenny Girdley. They built decks and done insulation for Brooks. She thought this was odd. She'd been watching this go on. So she decided she's going to ask him about it. She said, "What's up? What are y'all doing? Why are you riding around with him?" The defendant's words were, I was talking to Brooks about taking care of a woman with 5 kids. A woman, Crystal Rogers, who has 5 kids. Taking care of can mean a lot of things. But I think it'll become apparent to you what it was by the end of this trial. The defendant is asked by Brooks Houck, "I want to get rid of Crystal." You'll hear the defendant tell you that means gone, dead. The defendant saying, "I can't do that. I won't do that. But I will help you by moving the car, staging the crime scene." See, they wanted to look like Crystal left. Just got up and left. So they had to move the car. That's the man right there that moved the car. That's the man right there that aided and conspired Brooks Houck.
Oh, I left my coffee in the kitchen.
The evening of July 3rd, 2015, Brooks takes Crystal on that fatal drive to the farm. According to the defendant, he and his son went after they left the house, after Kylie left the house. They go to Brooks's house. They go to Brooks' house, take the car. The son, traveling down the Bluegrass Highway, was taking the car. According to the defendant, this is the defendant's own words, and got a flat tire. That was the reason for the 2-minute and 58-second phone call shortly or right after midnight between the defendant's son and the defendant, which precipitated a call to Brooks' house that lasted 13 seconds, long enough to tell him that Joey's broke down in the Bluegrass. I'm going to go get him, or if you believe the defendant's words, the job's done.
I do not believe anything Steve says.
According to the defendant, that part of their plan, their job was complete at that point. Crystal never heard from again. After 9 p.m., Crystal does not respond to any text, any calls from anybody. Her kids are texting her, her mother's texting her. There is absolutely zero response. Over the weekend, her mother and children continue to attempt to get a hold of her, and those calls went straight to voicemail and unanswered. Her phone was off. Her mother reported her missing on July 3rd. After speaking with the defendant, Brooks Houck, at a gas station. In the afternoon of July 5th, she's like, have you seen Crystal? No. We've been trying to get a hold of her. Nobody can get a hold of her. She goes, I'm going to go report her missing. We told her, yeah, why don't you go do that? I think that's a good idea. The Nelson County Sheriff's Office began an investigation that afternoon. Sherry went to the sheriff's office. You're going to hear that Sherry went to the sheriff's office. She was frantic. So frantic, they called in the detective.
Why they didn't have Sherry testify in Brooks' trial? I do not know.
But they called in the detective. And shortly after they called that detective in, they find her car abandoned on the Bluegrass Parkway. Houck's story was that she was gone when he woke up Saturday morning. Left the baby with him. Houck attempted to call her a few times over the weekend, but it went straight to voicemail. Meanwhile, he attended a cookout on the 4th of July. Detectives, they requested the call detail records. Call detail records are your cell phone records to see who he talked to. Lo and behold, they noticed that 13-second call shortly after midnight from 502-492-1390, the defendant's phone number. Brooks Houck was brought in on an interview on July 8th. Question about that early morning call from Lawson. Houck says he doesn't recognize the number, so let's just call him. You're going to hear the call. They dial the number. He goes, oh, it's Steve Lawson. Steve Lawson's an employee of mine. Working. The defendant answers the phone and advises that he had called about renting an apartment. Renting an apartment for his daughter, Lauren, during that 13-second call. And you're going to hear from Lauren. And you're going to hear if she was looking for an apartment.
We did not see her in Brooks'
Police attempt to make contact with the defendant. He advises that he's not coming in and he's not turning over his phone. Police get a search warrant for the defendant's phone. They seize it from him on August 14th. The defendant, he comes in on interview. Comes in for an interview on August 18th, 2015, where he advises the detective that he doesn't remember the call that happened, which the detective finds a little odd because on July 8th, he obviously remembered the call because he had told Brooks about what the call was about. But when he's brought in an interview by the police, He doesn't remember the call. The defendant advised he never left his house on July 3rd. He was home the whole night, drinking, didn't leave the house. Over the next 10 years, the defendant is interviewed multiple times and gave various stories about if he was on the Bluegrass Parkway and why he was on the Bluegrass Parkway at a particular location and time. In the end, if we believe we proved the case beyond a reasonable doubt, we'll come back and ask you to hold that man right there responsible.
Sorry, you're so
It really
theatrical.
helped Brooks Houck
Shane.
plan to murder Crystal Rogers.
But like they're at the end of that, they're gonna be like, you know what?
Does the defense
I don't
wish
think
to
we
give
did
its
that,
opening
so never
statement?
mind,
Or
jury.
Your Honor.
Proceed when you're ready.
Thank you.
Stupid.
It please the court, counsel for the
Well, that's gonna
Commonwealth.
come quicker than you think,
Mr.
Michael.
Lawson.
Just think, 2 years from now, you'll still be with us, and we'll be like, happy no work life
Ladies
anymore.
and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to move this, Your Honor. I'm not comfortable with that.
That's a very short opening statement. The judge with his glasses all the way down here.
As you folks have heard, opening statement is an opportunity for the parties to give basically what they believe the evidence is going to show. And you have heard from the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth has put a plethora of information on that screen. And I saw jurors taking notes related to what was written on that screen. You can take notes about anything you want.
Can we see the
Just
lawyer?
remember this. Opening statements are not evidence. They are merely a statement from a party claiming that they know what the evidence is going to show at the end.
Interesting.
They're
That's
trying to
usually
give you a
what judges
roadmap
tell the
of
juries.
what they believe that evidence is going to show. I'm going to tell you that there are many things that were stated on that screen that you will not see. There are many things that were on there that will not be presented to you as evidence. Here's what we have in this case, folks. It's quite simple, okay? In a way it's simple, in a way it's extremely convoluted, okay? What we have, and I think that you're going to see, that this case, at the end of it, there's going to be something that's established. And you might think, you know what, what's
they're
the
just
defense
gonna
attorney
focus on the judge
representing
this whole time,
Mr.
apparently.
Lawson
So
telling us this? I'm getting ready to tell you something, okay?
Okay.
I'm getting ready to tell you that at the end of this case, you are going to be able to, with good conscience, look at the jury instructions and determine that Steve Lawson is guilty of one thing. And that one thing that he's guilty of, he is guilty of tampering with physical evidence. If you remember, when you were here
you shut.
at the beginning, the judge talked to you about
I
there being
recommend
two
it.
charges. The first charge was tampering with physical evidence. The second charge, of course, was the conspiracy to commit murder. You will not hear evidence in this case that comes anywhere near the burden of proof. That rock that I talked about before, that rock will not move from that table to that table in relation to the conspiracy to commit murder. You're going to learn over the next few days how the Commonwealth has created a narrative. It's a narrative. We've heard creating a narrative, right? It's what you want people to believe. And in this narrative, they're creating something because there's a problem. There's a problem that they need to create a solution for. And what is that problem? That problem is, where is Crystal Rogers? What happened to that poor woman the night of July 3rd going into July 4th? That's what this case is about. It's the Commonwealth trying after 10 years of investigation. Think of that, 10 years of investigating this. They now believe that they have all the information that they need to present to you to solve the mystery of the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. That's not what you're going to hear over the next week. That's not what you're going to hear. What you're going to see is a series of individuals that are going to get on the witness stand and are going to attempt to be heroes. Quite frankly, I don't have another word for them. Okay? They want to go down in history as people that have solved what has been called in the Commonwealth of Kentucky like the greatest mystery in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And I know you folks haven't listened to anything, and we've cleared that out. You all probably not watched the podcast or anything, but trust me, this has been characterized as the greatest mystery in Kentucky.
I do like my snacks.
The Commonwealth has decided that now's the time to solve it. Now's the time to be the heroes.
This is a ballsy opening statement.
In order
I like
to become the heroes, they have to put on evidence, right? And the evidence they're going to put on, as we talked about briefly during your here, you're going to hear from many people
Right.
who
Now you're part of the
were
fam.
investigators, okay? And these investigators, you're going to see, most likely through cross-examination, not direct examination.
I
You're going
agree,
to see
Simone.
the extent,
I agree.
the length that the investigators went through when speaking to witnesses in this case in order to scare them, intimidate them, to get them to say things that were not factually accurate.
It's true.
Why? Because they wanted to solve the mystery that we all want to know what happened. Where is Crystal Rogers? So you're going to see these investigators and what they've done to get us here today. You're going to hear also through these same investigators about a grand jury process like no other in the entirety of the
That's
Commonwealth
true.
of Kentucky.
I've never heard of a grand jury meeting
You're
as
gonna
much
hear
as
that over the past 10 years,
they
we
did.
talked about a grand jury briefly in our voir dire process. 4, not just 1, not 2,
Voir
not 3,
dire.
but 4. 4 grand juries were impaneled over the past 10 years. And those grand juries, they didn't
Sankota.
meet just one time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They met
Looking
over
nice.
20 times. Count that, 20 times where evidence was presented to them. And as you remember from voir dire,
We miss you,
who
Sankota.
doesn't get to present evidence? The defense doesn't present evidence, right?
Or just
It's
Ian.
all about the prosecution.
No.
So 20 different times they met. 20 times they met before, with that low burden that we talked about before deciding to charge this man right here with conspiracy to commit murder.
Oh, we got a glimpse.
Not only are you going to hear from individuals who wear the gun and the badge, but you're also going to hear from some what I would call lay people. And these are people that basically are witnesses that they're not law enforcement. They weren't set to investigate the case. They may have heard something, they've seen something. And as you hear these people, I want you to just keep in mind, we are talking, for the most part, we are talking about things that happened 8, 9, 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When you watch these people on the witness stand and they testify to you and they act like it happened yesterday, just keep in mind what you're listening to, okay? And keep in mind the dates in which these folks are talking, all right? And what you're going to see is that while the Commonwealth wants to act like it happened yesterday, they're doing a switch on us here, okay? They want you to believe that the witnesses that get up there and testify like it just happened. Like it just happened. Just keep that in mind when you're listening to this evidence. Okay? And not only are you going to see what they've done to certain witnesses, but you're also going to see that there were many, many, many leads that were never, ever followed up on. There were many pieces of evidence that weren't tested. There were many pieces of evidence that if they were tested, they were then turned over to people that weren't inside the law enforcement community. You're going to hear about a series of I believe at the end of it, you're going to say, how in the world How in the world did they present us this evidence and want us to believe this with the understanding that this investigation was so flawed? The other thing that you're going to hear, guess what's not over? Guess what's not over? And I'm not talking about just the trial of the two people that are going to go to trial later on in June. I'm not talking about the co-defendants. I'm talking about the investigation in this case.
I'm surprised he could bring them up.
From the Commonwealth's own witnesses is that this investigation is still ongoing. It is still ongoing. Well, you may say, you know what, of course it's still ongoing because we don't know what happened to Crystal Rogers. Okay, I'll give you that. However, if there is a still ongoing investigation, how does the Commonwealth go to a grand jury and impanel that grand jury to charge a man with a Class B felony? I would think, and I hope the jurors would as well, before you charge somebody with something like that, you better darn make sure that you've completed your investigation. You better make sure that you've completed the investigation. And you know what? Here's the thing.
I like him.
I am not a person that is not sympathetic.
I don't know if this is a great opener, but I like him.
Quite the opposite. I'm very sympathetic. Okay? Very sympathetic. The problem is that in this case, what you're going to see is that the Commonwealth is taken and basically, well, I would call him a scapegoat. He's not a scapegoat, okay? What he is, he's a person that has a portion, just a portion of involvement in this case. He's got that portion. And I just told you, and we're going to tell you again in closing, he's guilty of that. We own that. He's going to own it. We all own it. But he is not guilty of the larger conspiracy to commit murder of a person that, quite frankly, we don't even know where she's at. We do not know. We don't know the answers to it. And it's terrible. It's terrible. And I don't know what to say other than we do not prosecute people under these circumstances and try to attempt to put them in jail unless we have more answers than we have now. What I think this case is going to show, beyond what I've already said, there are more unanswered questions than there are answered questions.
That is true.
Okay? You're going to hear a lot of speculation and a lot of, we think maybe this happened, we think maybe that happened. Speculation has no place in a courtroom when we're talking about depriving a person of their liberty. We leave that at the door. We leave that for people who are doing crime scene television shows. We leave that for LA, okay? We don't bring it in here. That's not where it belongs. We covered reasonable doubt before, so I'm going to skip right over that with one comment. Of course, reasonable doubt, as we briefly talked about, highest burden. Highest burden in the criminal justice system, right? Far higher than burden in a civil case. Remember where the rock starts. Remember where that rock starts. Do not move it over there until they bring in evidence that supports the movement of that rock.
No, Simone, he did not. Just Eli.
What you're also going to hear, which Mr. Young alluded to in his opening, is that the guy sitting here in the blue shirt, he cooperated with law enforcement and almost everybody at that table. He had conversations with almost everyone there over 20 times. When you count what he did at the grand jury, and you count what he did when discussing things with all of these people.
Shane is not happy. It's very rare to interrupt opening statements. So
This bench conference button's not working. Can you do it down there? I'm catching bench conference. It's not.
There you go. Judge, they invoked 410, and they're right now talking about the interviews that were conducted.
And talking about us in plea negotiations. That's exactly why
That's
we're
why we
having
don't
separate
do.
trials.
Go ahead. I didn't mean
That's
to cut you off.
exactly why we're having a separate trial. We're talking about plea negotiations and the prior interviews.
Judge, he just talked about in his opening that Steve Lawson made multiple interviews
He did, and it's-
multiple statements, and that he lied and he
We
mislead.
have
If I'm not lying,
absolutely zero, anything from law enforcement.
Oh, they're gonna be so spicy.
Anything from 2023, with the exception of the grand jury, that was the court's order.
well, here's the deal. And I know this was a close call when we were preparing for our defense. Close call is this, Judge. If we open the door, and maybe some of your prior rulings need to be revisited about what statements Mr. Lawson made can be used.
Judge, we can't
This
do
was
that
a-
at this
We-
point.
I've ruled on this issue.
I get it.
I have no problem saying he's been interviewed, but we're not gonna get into what was said during the interviews.
I didn't say that.
The judge, he's just
He
alluding to
just
the
told
fact
us
that
that
we've
we-
interviewed him
we
over
have been
20
interviewed.
hours.
No, I didn't even say that. I said
he
you've
said
interviewed him 20 times.
20 times.
And it's true. It's a true statement.
But it,
I'm not
We
going
have
to say
no
what he
ability
said.
to combat that unless we can deal with the interviews.
Let's move on. I've made a ruling previously. I'll stick with the ruling that the court's made, okay?
yes, sir.
I do like that Steve's lawyer just like doesn't give a shit. He's not intimidated. He's not as docile as the other attorneys, and I think that's important. I think the other two could have benefited if their attorneys had like 10% of this guy's,
What you're going to see
energy and
is evidence that
riz.
Mr. Lawson cooperated on numerous occasions with law enforcement, with the grand jurors, with quite frankly, anybody that wanted to ask him a question. Okay? What you're also going to see is that when Mr. Lawson did not state what the Commonwealth wanted him to state, he got charged. He got charged, and that's why he's sitting. That's what the evidence is going to show. What it's also going to show is that the prosecution, in this case, in an attempt to solve a mystery that many people, including me, want solved,
Hi, Juju.
overreached.
Good afternoons,
They
babes.
did things that should never have happened, should never have been done, and in order to get a resolution for the Ballard family and the loss of their loved one. That's what this is going to show. That's what you're going to see at the conclusion of this. You're going to see that we don't have the answers. We don't know where she is. We don't, unfortunately. But Steve Lawson, while he did commit the offense of tampering with physical evidence by, on July 3rd of 2015, go to the Bluegrass Parkway near mile marker 14, excuse me. He did, in fact, meet his son there. He did. And when he got there, his son wanted him to take him away from that location. And he did exactly that. But before he left, Steve Lawson put his hand inside that vehicle and manipulated the seat. When I say manipulated, that's a fancy word for move. He moved the seat. He moved the seat forward. And he moved the seat forward, as you're going to hear, because he wanted it to appear that Crystal Rogers, or somebody that was not his son, was the last person driving that vehicle. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear that. That lines up with tampering with physical evidence. We're not going to argue. After you hear all the evidence and you go back and deliberate, and remember, what I just told you, not evidence. Not evidence. What Mr. Young told you, same thing, not evidence. When you hear the people that get in this witness box and they make statements, that's the evidence, okay? When you hear that, myself as well as the entire team is firmly convinced that you will find Mr. Lawson guilty of exactly what he's guilty of, and that is tampering with physical evidence, and that is not conspiracy to commit murder, or for that matter, any harm to Ms. Rogers. Thank you, Your Honor.
Is Commonwealth ready to call its first witness? Who's your first witness?
Sherry Bell.
Sherry Bell.
Fully approach.
You may. Ms. Ballard, you come on up, please. I'll go ahead and give you a note. You'll raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? You'll have a seat right over there, ma'am.
I guess it's a minor point, and I do what I stated in my opening was accurate, and I swear I'm not asympathetic to her. My first question would be, what is she going to be utilized for?
She's one of fact witness.
Is that, are we still on, or I'm a little worried?
I'm back. For some reason, my coffee maker has shut off, and I don't know why. I can't get it working again. Let's see.
Oh, her microphone.
Let's see. Have we discussed yesterday's Ben? They haven't come out that I know of. A video of them. I did look last night. I don't know if that's going to be released with Brooks or I don't know. Oh, I wonder if we're going to get the same sleepy bailiff. I think that's him by the door.
So I'm.
You can't hear yourself. No. Okay.
So I'm completely aware that you're not obligated to tell me what she's going to say before she testifies. That's what objections are for. I get that. I just want to make sure, because of my review of the discovery, I don't know of any connection between this witness and Steve Lawson. And I want to make sure that, okay, I want to make sure that there's not going to be any speculation or anything to that effect. In minor point, there was a separation of witnesses admonition.
Oh, look at Angie saving the day.
Arguments. One could argue that was a violation of the
She
separation.
did find
the basis of the separation of
the
witnesses, so witnesses don't hear
sentencing
each other.
video. I looked last night on
However,
Quick. No. Anyway,
thinking
she's magic.
in good form, she probably should have been outside
But
the
we're
courtroom.
going to
She's
save
gonna
that
testify.
for when we conclude Steve's trial then. Thank you, Angie.
So
That means if that's on court, that means Brooks will be too. I need to add that to my calendar.
yeah, sure. I get it.
If there's objections along the way, let's take them up.
And great. And with that, before we leave, we never discussed this before. What's your preference on objections? Do you just want me to say it out loud and then we approach? Do you want me to say the basis for it? Probably.
Objection and approach, that's fine. And if it's an obvious thing, I'll say sustain and walk them up.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
I don't really know where to go to ask her questions, but I guess I'll just go over here.
There's a podium. I don't know where people we can turn off the light bulbs.
I will say Steve's lawyer has a lot of confidence, and I think that's important.
You go anywhere you want.
I feel like
I don't care where
Brooks
you
and
ask the
Joseph's
questions, Christ.
attorneys
Sure. Sherry,
didn't give that off. A lot of people don't like that.
would you please state your name?
I get it, but
It's okay.
oh, it's Sherry. Oh, it's hard.
Sherry Ballard.
Well, you're going to speak up. Okay, Ms. Ballard. We'll talk a little bit of background with you. Where do you live? Not the address, but what county you live
I live in Bardstown, Kentucky.
in. And
No.
you're a widow, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were married to Tommy, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have children.
I have 3.
And let's go ahead and tell me. Who are they?
Crystal, Casey, and Brooke.
You have grandchildren?
I have 9.
Great grandchildren.
I have 4.
The Casey and Brooke are still with us, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they each have children, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, they're both married.
Yes, sir.
And then Crystal, as we talked about, Crystal's deceased, correct?
Yes, sir.
Love you, Sherry.
I want to talk a little bit about Crystal. Crystal, the last time she was seen was how old was Crystal?
35.
And Crystal was had children as well, correct?
She had 5 children.
And was
That is true.
who are they?
Ashley, Kylie, Trenton, Tori, and Eli.
All right.
Randy, you have any stickers?
I don't understand why they didn't use Sherry for Brooks. But
Just one big guy.
maybe she didn't want to, and that's okay. I respect that if that's the case. This is very hard for her.
Judge, can we approach?
You may.
Yeah, you're welcome. Same.
I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm objecting for the record to the calling of this witness to lay the foundation that he's laying the foundation for. I believe that there are other witnesses that are clearly qualified that can say the same exact things, that are not going to front load the type of sympathy that this individual is getting from this jury. She can't compose herself, quite frankly. And to me, we have fast forwarded to the sentencing. This is a sentencing witness to me,
It's fair.
and I get it.
Fair
Judge.
argument.
She is a fact witness, and that's what they've called her for. But I object because she can't compose herself. I think the Commonwealth knew she wasn't going to be able to compose herself, and this is turning into a pity show for Miss Ballard. And I have pity for her as well, but it should not bleed into that jury. If we don't get to sentencing, then what we're seeing here can clearly be portrayed by somebody else that is less emotional and less sympathetic to this jury.
At this point, I don't find that the Commonwealth is down anywhere near that at this point. So I'll note your objection over this time.
Fair objection. He knew it wasn't going to go through. That's why he says just for the record.
I've got a
But
juror says they can't hear the questions that you're asking, Mr. Youngs. A juror says they can't hear the questions. I don't know if that podium can move or what.
If that microphone had
Where did that microphone go?
I mean, it helps though. It does.
There you go.
No, he said.
No, they can't hear you.
Oh, can't hear me? Okay.
He
Can't
said
hear you.
sympathetic,
Okay.
Angie.
Sorry.
Sympathetic. Not pathetic. He did not call her pathetic. No, sympathetic.
Sherry, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Commonwealth Exhibit number 1 and 2. Okay. I want you to take a look at these. And do you recognize these pictures? Okay. And do they fairly and accurately portray what the pictures are?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what those pictures are?
One of them's a picture of Crystal, and the other one's a picture of Crystal and Eli, her youngest son.
Or do they fairly
Looks like
and
she has a
accurately
black
represent-
eye.
Yes,
Judge,
yes,
I moved
sir.
into some evidence.
Any objection? Okay, I'll show 1 and 2 are introduced without objection.
Just, I don't know
Could just be the
how
lighting.
to use.
You can give them to the clerk there, or you can give them to the jury if you wish to publish.
Name to bail to publish
Yes.
to the jury.
We publish to the jury.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about Brooks and Crystal, okay? Could you tell me, are you aware when they began seeing each other?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when was that?
gosh, probably 2000, the end of 2010, 2011.
Okay, you want to tell me the beginning of the relationship? How was it?
They had a pretty good relationship in the beginning. She actually rented a house from him.
Is that how they met?
Yes, sir.
She was renting a house from him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And eventually, did it develop into more?
Yes, sir.
All right. And at some point, did she move in with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was she working at the time?
Yes, sir.
Where did she work?
She worked at a Little Minute Mart. Sorry, she worked at a Little Minute Mart that was right down the street from where she lived.
Okay. And did she do that when she was living with Brooks?
Yes.
All right. And at some point, did they move in together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when was that?
After she got pregnant with Eli, she was probably 5 or 6 months, I would guess, and she moved in with him.
All right. And did she move in with the kid, with Kylie, Tori, and Trent?
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
probably
So
not.
they all four lived with Brooks. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay. And
Oh, I
is she
agree,
still married to Keith?
Simone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about that situation.
Her and Keith just didn't get along. They still had a good relationship, but there was things in their marriage that wasn't working, and she left him, and that's when she rented from Brooks, and she never got it. She couldn't afford a divorce. She was going to try to do some stuff on her own, but she couldn't afford it. So she was still legally married to Keith.
At some point, did she quit working at the store?
Yes.
And did she begin working for Brooks?
Yes, sir. She was going to do his paperwork for his rentals.
Okay. And I'm going to take you to July of 2015. All right.
Bro, $500 a
So
month.
July of 2015, were Crystal and Brooks still living together?
Don't understand.
Yes.
All right. And what was the status of the relationship then?
Not good.
Okay. What do you mean by not good?
She wanted to leave the relationship. Brooks had other girlfriends, and she found out about it, and she wasn't happy with that. And one time, just little things happened. Like one time they were skeet shooting, and he switched out the bullet in her gun for a turkey bullet. I don't know the details. I'm not a hunter, so. And whenever she did it, it kicked back and hit her shoulder and put a big bruise on her shoulder.
So things weren't good in July 2015.
No.
All right. So July 4th of 2015. You remember that weekend?
Yes.
All right. Did you at some point become concerned about Crystal's whereabouts?
Yes.
All right. And what was your first indication, or why? What was your first indication that something may be wrong?
Because I tried to call her and she never called me back, and she never not returns my phone calls, ever.
Did you hear from her kids?
Her daughter texts me and she's like, Mama, she was at her other grandma's house, and she said, have you talked to Mom? I need some clothes. And I said, no, honey, but I'll call her and tell her you're trying to get in touch with her. So I text my daughter, and I didn't think any more about it. I was actually watching The Young and Restless in my bedroom, and I would tape it all week, and my husband would watch what he wanted on the other TV. And so I didn't think, she didn't text me back. Callie didn't. So I just assumed my daughter got in touch with her.
A sticker. He must have some visual that we can't see. I don't know. I mean, I'll say this about him having other girlfriends.
So
I'm
you said you
not
texted
calling
her?
Sherry a liar
Yes,
by
sir.
any
Okay.
means,
I'm going to show you what's
but they
Marcus
would have
Cummings
put that
number 3,
in the trial for books
I
if
want you to take a look at that.
they had
You see
any
that?
evidence of that. Because that's like their
Yes,
favorite.
it's my text message to my daughter.
Okay, could you go ahead and read those for me?
On 7-4, it says Callie is trying to get in touch with you. And then later on that night, I said, everyone is worried about you, even your kids call someone.
That's so cute.
Judge, does this fairly and accurately represent your all's conversation or your
Yes, sir.
text to her that weekend?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I move to introduce comments to number 3.
Any objection to 3?
No objection.
I'll show 3 is introduced at this time. May be published to the jury.
So were those texts ever answered?
No, sir.
So Sunday comes around, July 5th. You've not heard anything, correct?
No.
All right, what happens what do you do when you get up Sunday?
I'm trying to call everyone I know that my daughter would have talked to see if they'd talked to her, and no one had. And then I start to panic because I know something's wrong. And my husband told me, he said, my son had stopped by from Green River, so him and his wife were there. And I was getting upset and starting to cry. And my husband said, we'll go look for her. Because I told him, I said, no, I'm telling you, Tommy, something's wrong. So he told me to go file a missing persons report, and him and my son went to look for her.
Did you talk to Kylie again? Do you remember?
I don't think I did.
That's okay. So Tommy told you to go file a missing person report. Is that correct?
I never really watched him.
So
I remember
you
them when
go-
I was
you
little,
go
though.
to File a missing person.
Yes, sir.
And does anything happen on your way there?
On my way there, in front of Walmart gas pumps, I passed Brooks' Houck. So my granddaughter was with me, and I told, not Callie, a different granddaughter, Ashley. And I said, will you please text him, because I was driving, and I said, tell him to pull over. I need to talk to him. So he pulls over, and he pulls into the gas pumps, and I get out of my car and walk to his truck. And I go to the passenger side, and he rolls down the window. And I said, have you seen Crystal? Or have you talked to Crystal? And he said, no. And I said, well, what, did y'all get in a fight or something? And he said, no. She gets in a little tizzy sometimes because she thinks I treat Eli different than the other kids. And I said, but you haven't talked to her? And he said, no. And at that point, the baby stuck his head from around the back seat because he was in the car seat. And I knew the instant I saw that baby in the truck that something was definitely wrong, because my daughter never left that baby, never.
So when you saw the baby, you knew something was wrong?
Yes.
Did you ever see Crystal without the baby after the baby was born?
No, she took that baby to court with her when she used to go. She would take the small claims court, the people that rented from them, and she took him to court with her.
Okay. Have you watched the video at the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Does it fairly and accurately depict that?
Yes,
Matter
sir.
of fact, we reviewed that shortly before we come in here.
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay.
Like, it's weird that this didn't come in, and I'm pretty sure it didn't. And Brooks and Joseph's
And does that video fairly and
Trial.
accurately represent that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Judge, I move to
because I don't think I've ever seen the gas station footage before.
What is it?
This is a flash drive.
Oh, flash drive.
It's going to play in the record. Okay. I just went ahead and made a flash drive.
Any objection to 4?
No objection.
May I'll show it's introduced at this time.
Judge, could we put it on the TV? And can I ask Ms. Ballard to come down so she'll let us know the jury
Yes.
where she's at? You can come on down.
Yeah, I think there's a TV right behind her, too.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm sorry. Come over here, Shit.
Let's move this down a little bit. Oh, sorry.
All right. Well, I want you to point out. Yeah, more me. I want you to point out, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, so they can see on their TV screen where you are and where Brooks' house is.
Okay. Use some words, please.
That's me pulling in over here.
Okay. Oh, I think she's saying that's her where my mouse is there.
And I think you said in the meantime you had Ashley
And
call.
this is Brooks out coming into the gas station.
Over here.
In that truck there?
Yes, this truck right here.
So they were already there and then he pulls in?
That's me coming over to the truck.
What is on the front of the truck? That's obnoxious.
Is that you walking?
Yes,
It's
sir.
right there.
And I go to his passenger side
Shane.
window.
Mike.
And is this where y'all are having a conversation?
Yes, sir.
He's the
That's when
worst.
I'm asking him if he saw my daughter.
I think it would have been very important. Sorry, guys.
Fun, Miss
Oh,
Ballard.
I'm sorry.
That's all
I'm
right.
so sorry. I'm used to it not talking with you.
You're still talking to you there?
Yes, when I asked Brooks if he saw Crystal, when he told me no, I told him, I said, I'm going to go file a missing persons report. And he just looked at me like I was talking about someone off the street. And he said, I think that's what you should do. He never offered to go with me. He never offered anything. And that's when we left.
Is that you running
That's
by?
me going back to my car.
Back there. Oof. Ooh, that desktop. Ooh, boy. Yikes.
So do you all go to the police station?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, you Ashley go with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did your family do some searching for it?
Yes, we started that night, that very same night. We searched till like 3 o'clock in the morning on the BG,
Oh, well, the BG.
the Bluegrass Parkway. We searched the area where her car was found on the opposite, behind her car, all
Oh.
that.
All right. Did you ever hear from Crystal?
No,
Did you ever find any signs, Crystal?
no,
Did you all have people giving you information?
constantly.
Did you all follow up on it?
Everything, everybody told us we followed up on. My husband told me, Sherry, it might sound, like it's not. You follow everything anybody says. We have to prove that it's not correct.
So, to your knowledge, has Kylie, Tori, Ashley, or Trenton ever heard from Crystal?
No,
Have they been living with you?
yes. They all don't now, but they were.
Right. They're 10 years old now.
Yes.
So, to your knowledge, has anybody, either you, family, friends, anybody, heard
It's
from Crystal?
crazy today.
No, sir.
Any cross?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you may step down. Thank you. We've been going about an hour. Why don't we take about a 10-minute break and be ready with your next witness, okay? So the jury may
All
go.
right.
They remember the same admonitions are in place, okay? I've gone over previously.
I think the next witness is Detective John Snow.
It's on his thing, I think.
Hi, 80s. Good afternoon.
We'll start back at 2:41.
See, that's what confuses me too, right? You have your cop, if you think it's them, cop brother knows what to do with things. Wouldn't cop brother also know like X, Y, and Z of what happens next to make better cover stories and alibis? These are things I think about that I don't have answers for. And people are stupid. So, you know, there's a lot of stupid criminals out there. And that's why we get to watch trials.
At this time, let the record reflect all 15 jurors have returned to the courtroom. Everyone may be seated. Counsel waive the call.
Yes.
So, Mr. Young, call your next witness.
Deputy John Snow, Your Honor.
Deputy Snow, if you'll come forward, please.
You know, because him not going to the police station, he didn't have nothing to
you
do.
Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
You'll have a seat right over there.
Do you?
Try to sit as close to the microphone as you can, and please answer all questions asked of you.
Detective, you were a detective at the time. Deputy, could you please introduce yourself, ladies and gentlemen, jury?
Yep, my name is Jonathan Snow. I'm currently a deputy with Bullitt County Sheriff's Department, but in 2015, I was a detective with the Nelson County Sheriff's Department.
All right. And were you the lead
I'm
officer in this
tired.
case back in 2015?
I was.
All right. I want to go back a little bit of your background. Where do you live?
I live just outside of Bloomfield in a little community called Chaplin,
All right.
northeastern Nelson County.
Did you, I think where did you grow up?
A little bit of everywhere, mostly in Indiana.
All right.
Weird question, but
And
okay.
you said you're currently employed with Bullitt County, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go through your previous law enforcement experience.
Well, I was a military police officer with the Kentucky Army National Guard for a few years. Started my civilian law enforcement career in 1997 with the city of Taylorsville, which is where I graduated high school. Worked there for just over 2 years and had an opportunity to go to the city of Bardstown. Worked there for a little while. It was a pretty good pay bump from
I'll be
the city of
back, friends.
Taylorsville. And shortly after getting employed there, an opportunity came for the sheriff's department. So I applied and was hired there in 2000.
Okay. So, Nelson County Sheriff's Office, let's talk about it.
Okay.
How big is the department?
Currently, or
Back in 2015?
so we were probably, I don't know the exact numbers, but I think we had like 20 or 21 deputies and then the command staff and the civilian employees. So we were less than 30 all told.
How about the number of detectives?
There were 2 of us at the time.
Okay, could you, for those who haven't been to Nelson County, could you describe it to them a little bit about what the size of the population is and the makeup of the community?
Yeah, so Nelson County in 2015 would have had roughly 45,000 people. The biggest urban area would have been Bardstown. And then you have 2 other incorporated areas, Bloomfield and New Haven. And then there's 4 other unincorporated townships. I'm sorry, Fairfield is incorporated as well, but they have a mayor, but that's about it.
Would you say that it's got a pretty big rural population?
Yes, the county would mostly fall under agricultural and rural land.
All right. And you were a detective back at the time, correct?
That's correct.
All right. During your time as a career at the Nelson County Sheriff's Office, how long were you a detective?
I started full-time in the detective's office in 2009 after returning back from Louisville Metro Police Department.
All right. Up until your retirement?
Correct. I was promoted once just before the new sheriff took over the administrative duties of the captain.
Okay. All right. It's about 10 years, fair to say you were a detective?
Yes.
All right. And training, have you received training on crime scenes?
Yes.
All right. And handling evidence?
Correct.
All right. And did you go through your regular DOJ-CT or basic training to be a police officer?
Yes. I completed the POPS certification in 1998 and had 40 hours or more of training every year beyond that.
All right. So let's talk about July 5th of 2015.
Mhm.
That would have been the day that her car was done, correct?
That's correct.
All right. So did you all have an on-call detective?
Yes, the 2 of us shared on-call responsibilities every other week.
So there were just 2 detectives?
Correct.
Okay.
So y'all, every other week you would be on call?
Yes.
All right. And who was on call this week?
I would have been Detective Mike Kaminsky.
All right. And did you all receive a call to come in?
Yes, I don't know if it was Sergeant Allison or Deputy Voules that contacted Detective Kaminsky regarding this case, but he was contacted and asked to respond to the Sheriff's Department at the time.
Did he respond?
He did, and he was involved in a vehicle collision on the way there, and so he could not continue his response.
So did you get called?
I did.
Now, what kind of report were you responding to?
So when I got the call, it was Sergeant Allison that called me to advise me that Detective Kaminsky had been involved in a collision and I needed to respond. It was technically a missing persons report, but by the time they had given me the call, her vehicle had already been located on the Bluegrass Parkway. And so Sergeant Allison asked if I would respond to the Bluegrass Parkway for the vehicle.
Okay. So, do you know who reported her missing?
Her mother, Sherry Ballard.
All right.
I believe she had several other family members with her, but she's the listed reportee.
And who took the report from her?
I believe Deputy Voules got the initial call to take the missing persons report.
And where did you go to? Where did you respond to?
Initially, I responded to the Bluegrass Parkway just west of the 14-mile marker.
Okay. And was that where her car was located?
That's correct.
And while he's looking through those, so when you got there, what did you find?
So there were Sergeant Allison and Deputy Voules were already on scene. There were numerous other individuals that were just to the rear of the vehicle. When I got there, Sergeant Allison asked me to come up to the front. He explained to me that the family or someone had found the vehicle and contacted the family, and so the family had responded to the vehicle prior to our arrival and had some contact with the vehicle. I believe they opened the door to the vehicle, looked into it, maybe touched the window, opened the door, but didn't remove any contents or anything from it.
Okay. And you said it was at the mile marker 14, is that correct?
Just west of the mile marker. You could see the mile marker sign from where it was at.
Okay. Here you go. I'll take it. So it's west of Bardstown, is that right?
Yes, sir.
It's heading towards Elizabethtown?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so about how far out of Bardstown is it?
The last mile marker for Bardstown, I believe, is the 25 mile marker. That would be the New Haven Road exit. No, I'm sorry, that's the 150 exit. So exit 21 would be the New Haven Road exit. So then it would be, let's see, was that 6 or 7 miles past that?
Okay, so is it still in Nelson County?
Yes.
All right. I'm gonna actually take a look at those. Just take a look, flip them forward. Okay. Do you recognize those photos?
I do.
And what are the photos?
They're photos of her vehicle, both on the parkway, interior and exterior pictures, as well as a photograph of her vehicle secured in Coulter's Towing's building.
Okay. And do these fairly inaccurate representations?
Yes.
The judge has moved to introduce into evidence Commonwealth's Exhibit 5 through 13.
Any objection to 5 through 13?
No objection.
So that's introduced at this time.
And Deputy, I want to pay particular attention to Exhibit 5, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so can you tell me what that picture is of?
Yeah, it's from the rear of the vehicle, maybe 30 or 40 feet behind it, showing a skid mark on the passenger side of the vehicle that we believe was made when the vehicle tire went flat and was driven for some time.
All right. And is that also visible in Exhibit number 6?
It is.
Okay.
It's actually a little better on 6.
Wish to publish to the jury, maybe publish to the jury.
And talking about Exhibits 7, 8, and 9, okay, could you go through those?
Sure. You want me to describe them as I go
Yes,
through?
sir. As you go
Yeah,
through.
so Exhibit 7 shows kind of an upper view of the passenger side of her vehicle, displays her purse, her cell phone, and the ignition key, as well as some other keys that are on the ignition key still in the ignition. Picture 8 is from the driver's side, very similarly. And then the back seat of the vehicle still has a car seat and what appears to be a child's bag in the rear floorboard of the vehicle.
Okay. Now I want to talk a little bit. I have kids. Okay. Do you have kids?
I do.
All right. And then are they little now?
No.
All right. Does the inside of your vehicle now look different than it did when they were little?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Could you tell me how it looks different?
Well, it's mostly clean.
Okay.
There aren't things like diaper bags and things floating around in there, toys and uneaten food and things of that nature that the younger kids tend to leave in
And
there.
we've heard testimony that Crystal had younger children, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to move to publish to the jury 7.
That is why his name is that.
Sure, it'll be published.
I'll speak for him. I've known him for a few years in the YouTube chats. By the way, I'm trying a peach mango
Exhibits 10, 11.
V8 today.
And 10 is just a picture displaying the license plate of the motor vehicle for identification purposes. 11 and 12 are pictures of the interior of the trunk of the vehicle where there were items related to children, a little red wagon, a cooler with some sodas and high C, I think it was, some kind of punch drinks or something in there with water still in the cooler.
And was that all the contents in the trunk?
Yes, there's some things in the wagon, but
Okay. All right. Now, while the car was out there, were those photographs taken out of the park?
yes,
And her phone was in there, correct?
that's correct.
Could you tell me the status of the phone, or could you tell if it was on or off or what?
Yes, it was off.
Okay. And then, did you collect anything out of the car prior to it being towed?
No, I believe everything was collected from it at Coulter's Tow.
Okay, at some point was it towed?
Yes,
Okay, and picture number 13, could you take a look at that?
yes, that'd be the vehicle in the storage, secure storage at Coulter's Towing.
So was it stored inside the building?
That's correct.
This doesn't have to be published.
I don't know. As I said, Elbow picked these up for me, so I don't know what the options were. I've been drinking orange pineapple, but this is the
Now,
pink
you said
mango.
something about, we'd seen pictures of the car with a flat tire, is that correct?
Ooh,
Yes.
I like this one
Okay,
more.
did you all ever determine what the source of the flat tire was?
We didn't find out ourselves, but we sent it with the FBI and they found a piece of metal lodged in it. That's about as good a description as we could get from
Okay,
it.
did you all gain information that showed that there was a problem, that the family knew there was a problem at the time?
I believe they'd been airing it up some over the time, yes.
Okay. And when it was towed to Coulter's, did somebody follow it or accompany the vehicle?
Yes, Sergeant Allison accompanied the vehicle. Once it was inside the secure storage, he removed the keys. I believe he removed the purse and the cell phone, the keys, and secured the vehicle and brought those items back to the sheriff's department.
And after the car was brought back, did you stay out there on the parkway?
We did. We had several people out there searching, as Ms. Ballard alluded to. The family was out there. We also had several people from Bardstown Police Department and Nelson County Sheriff's Department searching the area.
We're always hungry.
I wasn't out there an extremely long time before I went back to the Sheriff's Department to talk to Ms. Ballard.
Okay, so you went back to the sheriff's office?
Correct.
Okay, and did you talk to Miss Ballard?
I did.
All right. And she's described about reporting it. And how was she?
She was obviously distraught, which is not all that unusual for somebody that's reporting their child missing, but it is sort of unusual for somebody who's reporting their adult child missing. And she was very concerned about it, said that there was no way that she would leave Eli for that long of a period of time, and certainly would not be out of communication with her other children, as it appeared that she had been, for that duration.
That's
All right.
tonight.
At some point, did you reach out to Brooks Houck?
Yes, sir. I called him on the phone.
Okay, when?
That afternoon.
All right. And what was your conversation with Mr. Houck?
I asked him if he,
Objection.
We see counsel at the bench.
Dave, we watch it in Discord together after the show, so you could just wait. I stream it on Thursdays after the show, but I'm just kidding. You don't have to wait.
Judge, I didn't object when the previous arguably hearsay came in related to the discussion with Ms. Ballard, because I think that went to state of mind, so it wouldn't have been offered for the truth of the matter asserted. But on this one, it sounds to me like if he's talking to Brooks Houck, then we're probably going to get into something that would be objectionable.
Well, I think he's just going to, the answer to my question is going to be that he asked him to come in, he did. So I don't know.
Oh, maybe I misunderstood I thought he asked him what he said.
I said, did you at some point you talk to Brooks Houck? And he said, yes, I called Brooks Houck and he was getting ready to say, asked him to come in, he said he would. But
I didn't have a problem with that. I thought I was going off a different cliff where I thought we were going.
I had the same interpretation there. And to be fair, I thought that going into the nature of the conversation, it was just to confirm that he made a phone call to ask him to come in.
Peer pressure, Dave. Peer pressure. Sounds good.
I got to turn the microphone off again. So you call Mr. Brooks Houck, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, did you ask him to come in?
I did.
Okay, and he did, right?
Yes, he did.
Okay, now I don't want to talk about what he said, but I
Sure.
want to talk about, why would you call Brooks Houck?
Well, he was, the information that we got from Mrs. Ballard was that he was in a committed relationship with the person that she was reported missing and had a child with.
All right, and up until this point, had he reported her missing?
He had not.
Now, did he come in?
Yes,
Okay. And do you know what he drove when he came in?
I really couldn't say on that one. I was in the office. I don't remember seeing him pull up.
Okay. And did you ask him permission to download Crystal's phone?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And what does that mean, download her phone?
So at the time, we had recently purchased what's called a Cellbrite machine, and it's designed for downloading cellular telephones and not removing the content, but copying the content over onto another drive so that it can be examined without making changes to the phone itself.
Okay. So it's just kind of mirrors it. So it carries
Yes.
that? All right. Now, do you know if Brooks Houck and Crystal's were on the same phone plan?
That was the information that he gave me, yes.
Now, did you advise him why you wanted to download the cell phone?
Yes, I talked to him about that.
What did you tell him?
I was hoping that something on the phone would give us an indication as to where she had been or what she'd been doing since she was last seen. Particularly, we wanted to know if the location services were turned on her phone and if she'd had any communication with anyone who might have information with regards to where she had gone.
Okay, and it is your understanding where she went that night?
Are we talking about the night of the 3rd?
Night of the 3rd, yes.
Yes. So the information that we received was that she and Brooks and Eli had gone to the farm that evening around 7, arrived there around 7, between 7 and 7:30, and that they had his description walking around the cow pastures with the cows.
So
for several hours.
You talk about the farm. Whose farm is it?
It is owned by Brooks Houck. Rosemary Houck, his mother, resides on the farm.
Okay.
Resided on the farm in 2015.
In 2015, was she the only person that resided on that farm?
Other than potentially a live-in boyfriend, I think they kind of went back and forth between his house and hers. But yes.
So that night, did you talk to Sherry and Kyle?
Yes, we did an on-camera interview with them regarding getting some deeper information about Crystal.
Okay, and other than Brooks, according to what your investigation showed, who was the last person that saw Crystal here?
Well, when I reached out to Rosemary Houck on the phone because She lived there. She reported seeing them arrive.
Judge, objection. I'll sustain the objection.
Oh, I really wanted to know the
Oh,
answer to
sorry.
that.
Did you talk to Sherry and Kylie then?
Yes.
Okay. And
Oh, thank you.
you've heard
Thanks,
Ms.
Simone.
Ballard testify that they had made calls attempting to talk to her. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you know if anybody was at the house when Brooke and Crystal left?
Yes, Kylie was still at the house waiting on her other grandmother to pick her up.
Was the car there?
Now, did you also take into consideration what means Crystal had? Meaning, is this somebody that had the financial means or the whereabouts that could leave?
So in subsequent interviews, we were told that, maybe I can't say that about that, but
It's okay. Have you looked at
my understanding is that she made a modest income from helping with the rental properties. And that
$500
was
a month.
the sum total of the money that she received monthly.
Okay.
I don't know if I call that
Now,
modest.
did you also receive a
Probably nothing.
phone call or a voicemail?
I did. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show them first.
I got a bunch of them, but
No, I'm not. School is not my favorite time. But little llamas will be in 8th grade this year. So we're almost to high school.
Mhm.
I don't like it.
Mhm.
Shane and that microphone.
Yeah, approach with insurance.
You may.
So I only want to talk about one thing on this piece of paper. Could you take a look at this and tell me what this is?
sure, it's notes that I would have written down as I went through, probably voicemails and messages from people.
Okay. And could you tell me, do you recognize the handwriting on this one?
Yes, I wrote that.
Okay. And does it have a date and time on it?
It does. It's dated July the 5th at 6:43 p.m.
And is there a number on it?
There is
What is it?
270-312-3726.
And whose phone number is that?
It says Stacy with a question mark.
Okay,
So
that's all I need to know. The
Stacy's gonna have to get a new number. She hasn't
Would you
changed it
take
in
a
10
new
years.
yes, it was my habit to write sticky notes about voicemails to receive, and with the potential of maybe passing them to someone else to return a call or returning it to myself.
and would you have wrote down the date and time? Would that have been the
Middle
time that
school's
you took
wild.
off the voicemail?
It
Or
was
would it have been the time it was stamped on the voicemail?
it was probably the time that was stamped on the voicemail.
Okay. And so this would have been reported the same evening she was missing. Is that
Correct.
Okay.
I love the crime lab idea.
Now, you're probably late in the evening now. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's on the 5th. So on the 6th, what all happened on the 6th?
So I came into the office early. I believe we plugged her phone in because it needed to be charged for the Cellbrite download. When we plugged it in, it powered on. We charged it. Seems like it took a while for it to charge back up because it was completely dead. And we downloaded it or attempted to download it. As I said, the technology for us was fairly new. And so we were having difficulty with the Cellbrite at the time. Sorry, let me open that. We had already done a lot of the things that you would already typically do for missing persons. We had her entered in MCIC prior on that evening that she was reported, so we hadn't gotten anything back from that as of yet.
So what does NCIC?
It's the National Crime Information Center, so it goes all over the country. And if someone in law enforcement were to have a contact with that individual, if she were to be identified in a traffic stop or a pedestrian stop or be involved in a crime of some sort or something, somebody had the occasion to run her social security number, we would get alerted to that, and then they would get alerted that we wanted information regarding that encounter so that we could identify the missing person's location.
So you put it that way, if somebody's ever stopped and they're missing, you all would be alerted.
Correct. All of our missing persons reports go into NCIs.
And what would happen when you all are alerted?
We would make contact with that agency in hopes that they were still with that individual. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but at least you have a general idea of where they are and what their condition is. If they had contact with them, they could tell us whether they were distraught, whether they were confused, or whether they were perfectly healthy and said they didn't want to be found, because that agency, that individual who ran her, would have known that she'd been reported missing in our jurisdiction.
So you download the phone,
Mhm.
right? And do you go through a purse?
I did.
And what are you looking for? When you're looking through somebody's purse, what are you looking for?
Sure. Well, it's been my experience that the ladies carry lots of things in their
I love
purse. And
Grady Judd
one of the
too.
things that we often find in them are receipts that also have dates and time stamped on them. And so I was looking for, first and foremost, anything that was possibly dated beyond the last time someone saw her, but also receipts that might verify some of the information that we had gotten so far with regard to what she had done on that last day.
Did you find anything in your receipts that helped you?
Yes, we found the Walmart receipt where she had gone to Walmart.
And when did she went to Walmart?
It was earlier that day, earlier in the afternoon, and we were able to go and get the video for that and verify that it was her and that she had the two children with her. Seems like we found an ATM receipt that we thought was going to be helpful. Turned out to be really kind of nothing in the grand scheme of things, but there were just lots of different receipts in there giving us dates and times of where she had done things. And some of them were not of much use, but the Walmart receipt was of particular interest because it verified where she had been that afternoon.
So when you're looking for a missing person, are you trying to retrace steps?
Yes.
Okay, and does this aid you in figuring out where this person was at a certain time?
Absolutely.
Okay, and I'm gonna actually look at comments. Is it a 14 or 18?
So 14 is just receipts, Walmart receipts and the like. Most of them Walmart, I think, a couple dollars in the receipts, it looks like. 15 is just a larger picture of those. 16 has her identification. Sorry, I'm behind the microphone. Has some coin and her identification, that debit card. Looks like maybe some kind of a health insurance card in it. Some other paperwork. Couple of kiddo things, looks like ink pens and the like, things of that nature. A charm bracelet, some keys, things you might find in a lady's purse.
All right, and you've been doing this a minute, right?
Correct.
Okay, does somebody leaving their debit card and driver's license behind consistent with someone running off?
It did not appear to me that she had left on her own, given what was left in the vehicle.
Okay, and how much money did she have in her purse?
Just a few dollars. There wasn't much in there.
Judge, I'd move to introduce this fairly accurate represent what you found in the purse.
Yes.
I would move to introduce comments that were 14 through 18.
Any objection?
No objection. We don't need to publish these.
So 14 through 18 have been introduced at this time.
Now,
Timestamps
you had
are
mentioned you
important.
pulled some video, right?
Correct.
Okay. And why are you, I think you testified you pulled video because you're trying to figure out where she's at and what she's doing, right?
So along with the Walmart video, we began to, not just me, but a plethora of officers began to go to local businesses in the area along the route from what would be the most likely route from their house to the farm that they were reported to have gone to that evening. And we pulled video from, I don't know, maybe a dozen or so locations that captured either a large portion or a little bit of the road along that route.
Okay. And to your understanding,
Oh boy.
What route did they take to get to the farm?
So we were able to track his truck on the video, which is, as you saw on the other video, it's a very noticeable vehicle. You don't see a lot of them that size with the big ladder racks and things on it. So it kind of stood out, and we were able to track them down 62 and then on to 49 past Heaven Hill Distillery and then going into the driveway in the farm.
I agree, you
There's
do.
a camera just at the corner of Pascal Ballard Road and Highway 49.
All
And
this tech data information
Did you
isn't
provide
always
video
correct
to
up to
Tom
me sometimes.
Well, I provided it to the FBI, so they provided it to them.
Okay.
Yes.
And have you reviewed that?
Yes.
And does it fairly and accurately represent the surveillance video you all pulled?
Yes.
And this is not the entirety of the surveillance, it's just clips.
Oh, no, there was lots and lots of video to go through.
Judge, I'd move to introduce comments to number 19.
Any objection to 19?
No objection.
Sure, 19 is introduced at this time.
And I'm going to publish to the jury. Is it okay if Deputy Snow to sit down and show the TV? Deputy,
Do you want me to take this microphone?
yeah, that's probably a good idea. Is it on?
I think so.
Oh, on Top X, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Now, if Crystal's car was supposed to be at the house and Joey and Charlie pick it up, wouldn't they come across some sort of surveillance at some point in their route of Crystal's car? Because it was still daylight. They apparently picked it up, I think, before they went to the farm. I don't know.
Technical.
I have a lot of opinions about the future of tech in trials. Don't even get me started on deep fakes. It's wild things. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, come on, John. Grab a
Okay,
seat.
sure.
It's technology.
It's great when it works.
So, were you all able to verify that Brooks' truck went to the farm?
Yes, we were able to follow it on several of the videos.
Okay. And were you able to follow it basically down the route that he would have taken to get to the farm?
Yes.
Okay. And did you verify that, in fact, it turned on the road where the farm was?
That's correct.
Okay. Could you verify that it actually went to the farm, or could you just verify that it turned on the road to the farm?
Well, the camera only captures a few hundred feet of the road that leads back to the farm, the Pascal Ballard Road. So there's nothing else back there. There's nowhere to go when you get there. There's a cul-de-sac about halfway beyond the farmhouse, and then there was a road, a private road beyond that, but it doesn't go anywhere other than to the farms.
Okay. And what time was that?
It was a little after 7. I
A
believe.
little after 7 o'clock. Okay. So in July, it was still in daylight.
Yes.
All right. Were you able to get some video that showed it coming home?
Yeah. Well, we did. We say the same video, just tracking it later on. We have it leaving the farm just before midnight and on through in succession through the cameras that we already had footage from going back toward the residence.
Okay. And do you believe at some point did it arrive home? You believe?
Yes, that's what we believe. We didn't have a camera on the house itself, but it certainly goes back that same route.
Sometime after midnight.
Correct.
All right. So you verified that the truck went to the farm and the truck come home, right?
Yes.
It was there for 4 or 5 hours. Okay. So at some point, did you go to search Brooks' house and truck?
Yes.
Okay. Did you do that?
We did.
Okay. And did you all find anything of any evidentiary value?
No.
All right. And you all canvassed the neighborhood?
We did.
Okay. Explain to ladies and gentlemen what canvassing the neighborhood is.
Sure. So several of the officers, probably from both jurisdictions, Bardstown was helping us out quite a bit then, went to the neighbors and talked to them just to ask them if they had any information if they saw anything that night, anything like that. Oftentimes when they're not home, we'll just leave a card in the door with whichever officer made contact, or they might have passed out my card since I was the head detective at the time.
Okay. And were y'all able to establish the time? Strike that. Did you all go to the farm?
We did.
Okay. And was that on July 6th?
I believe that was the first time I went to the farm, yes.
Okay. And was anybody there?
Not on that day. I say that. I can't remember if Larry Mock was there or not, but neither Rosemary nor Brooks were there.
Okay. So did you all do any search that day?
No, I called her on the phone and she said I could, but I didn't feel comfortable doing that without someone there present. So
And did you obtain a search warrant?
I did.
For the farm?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Zoe.
At some point, Crystal, we've heard, was married. Did you interview her husband?
Yes, I spoke with Keith Rogers.
Okay. And were you all able to verify that her children had been dropped off?
Yes, he informed us that she dropped them off after they had gone to Walmart that afternoon.
All right. And are you all getting, I know Ms. Ballard's talked about tips. Tell ladies and the jury about the amount and volume of tips you all were getting.
We were inundated with them. We didn't have near enough personnel to return calls timely, to take calls timely. The dispatch KSP post was getting crime stopper tips. We were getting calls to the sheriff's office. We were getting messages through Facebook. I would guess that in that first week, we probably got well over 1,000
tips.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you all follow up on as many tips as you could?
Yes. If they left the phone number or if they gave specific enough information for us to track down what they were talking about, I feel confident it got followed up on.
Okay. Did you all also receive some unusual tips?
Yes, we got, I have a whole file of mediums and psychics and things that called in wanting to provide information with regards to what had happened to her.
Now, you have Crystal's car in storage, correct?
Yes.
And is it a
First
secure
time.
storage?
Yes.
Okay. Did you all search the car and have it processed?
Yes.
Okay. Explain to ladies and the jury
I
about
don't know if I
searching the
actually
car and
said
what is
that.
processing the car.
Sure. So Bardstown Police Department at the time employed a crime scene tech. And so the sheriff made the decision to have that individual go and process the car while we were doing other things. And processing the car just basically means, it could be fingerprinting, it could be swabbing areas of it that are commonly touched for DNA, collecting hair, collecting chewing gum, collecting trash, just a wide variety of things. Anything that crime scene tech thinks might be important to the investigation. And they kind of
Burning a
make that
body
decision
is
while
a
they're on
very
scene
long
looking
time.
at it.
Okay.
And a
And
lot of heat. Very hard.
did you all,
Normally.
was there samples collected?
Yes,
Okay. And were they sent to the lab?
they were.
Okay. And did you all gain anything of any evidentiary value out of that?
No.
I think the fire has to be like over 2,000 degrees. And then it's
So on July 7th,
hours.
do you all conduct a search of the farm?
Correct.
Okay. And do you all locate anything of any evidentiary value at the farm?
No.
All right. Now on the 8th, are you all still working on going through video?
Yes.
Okay. And what about tips? Are you still getting tips?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Did you receive any call detail records that day?
Yes, I believe I got the first set of Bluegrass records, Bluegrass Cellular, which was what Crystal and Brooks had. Who they had their phone service through.
Okay. And did you notice anything on the phone records that piqued your curiosity?
Yes, I discovered a phone call shortly after midnight to Mr. Houck's phone.
Okay. And what was the number on it? Do you know?
I don't have it right.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't have the call records in front of me.
It's okay. Did you later find out whose phone number that was?
Yes, I did.
Who was that?
It was Steve Lawson.
So did you bring Mr. Houck back in that day?
I did.
All right. And did you inquire of him about that phone call?
Yes, we had a pretty extensive interview. I asked him about that phone call.
And I'm going to stop you real quick.
Sure.
So did he know who that number was?
He initially indicated that he did not, or he was not familiar with the number.
And then did you all call that number?
Yes, he began to enter the phone number into his phone and put it on speakerphone and dial it. He said, "Oh, that's Steve Lawson's number."
Objection, Judge.
I'll sustain as to what he would have said.
See something.
And was that recorded, the phone call?
Yes,
Okay. And have you had a chance to review that?
I have.
Now, this is just a portion out of the entire interview. Is that correct?
Correct.
And it only pertains to the phone call, Brooks Houck dialing the number and talking to Steve Lawson. Is that correct?
Correct.
And does that fairly and accurately represent that?
Yes.
And Judge, we're going to have to play that for the jury. But we brought headphones for the jury because it'll help them listen to it. If I can run it, or if you want to, I can help them. Or
You want to hand off?
yes.
Just tell them how it works.
So this is an up and down button right here for volume. That's it. They've been cleaned. Okay, everything's clean. So if you want to, I'm going to pass sets out, and if you'll just keep your set, we'll use them later. There you go.
Oh, you guys, cheeseburgers, ribeye. Oh, that's awesome.
And if at any time, I got you. Right.
That's right. Simone does like making cookies.
It's not working. If you'll just raise your hand, okay? Everybody put them on. I'll tap this and see if it works. You want to click the up button. Does it light up? Okay. Can you? Yeah. Okay.
Objection.
Judge has a set too.
You're making me hungry.
Yes. Did your work?
I know. I texted Elbow Feet. I don't know if Elbow Feet's still listening, but I texted you to pick up some wine for me for tonight's show because I forgot. Somehow, I've mentioned it several times, but I forgot that tonight at 8 p.m., me and Lady in Gray right here, True Crime and Wine Time podcast, where we're doing part 2 of the John List Nightmare. So you don't want to miss that.
Is it up there?
It's not playing off your system.
There's another USB cord in my bag, or a HDMI cord in my bag if you need it.
We just practiced this right before we started. So
Right on the left, long laptop, presentation.
Oh boy.
I don't know, John, it's not rich.
we still have the jacks. We just try this.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not playing into the jazz system, is what I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's just not in jazz. That's what's
Jazz.
it's not up on the TV. That's what's weird.
Everybody's got here.
Don't know.
Going to Dunkin'.
Jackson still in the building. You're texting. How far away is he? We'll take a break.
It's you do it like 4 hours.
We take breaks.
Yeah, I'll see if I can.
Apparently, we practiced this before we came in, and now it's not working. So what we're going to do is take about a 10-minute break. Please remember the admonitions that are still in place. Do not discuss this case among yourselves. Do not let anybody discuss this case with you. If anybody attempts to decide to
Donuts
discuss
is one of the
this case
things we
with you,
usually do like to
you
talk
report
about.
that to me, and you're not to finally make up your mind about the case until you've heard all the evidence, receive the instructions from the court, and gone to the jury room to consider what your fellow jurors have to say about the case. Okay, why don't we hang on about 10 minutes more since it's now working, because I'm afraid if I'll take you out and come back in, it won't work. So let's
2 hours. Oh no, it's 2
white noise, please.
minutes and 15 seconds. Never mind.
Before you play it, can you tell us what it is so we can
It's the phone call.
the whole just the how long it because of course there's Jon Snow's having a discussion with him, right? And there's Brooks Houck.
Right.
Our guy makes a phone call,
Well,
or
no.
Brooks calls him. Right, okay.
This
We're
is him. This is him dialing the number.
I just want to make sure we're only playing the call.
Need to be clear, there's a little bit in the front of it where at one point John says, do you know this number? He says no. Then there's another place where he says, let's just call it, and then
They dial the number.
then they dial the number.
Okay. Well, it seems to me like the phone, the discussion with my client, I can't object to. However, I don't know if his assertion that he doesn't recognize the number should get in, because that's an assertion by Brooks Houck, and it's not an assertion by my client. So I'm going to object to that part of it and ask that we only play the conversation when my client's a party and no lead up to that.
We're not offering anything for it to. We're just poking the number in. So I don't know who the number is. He calls it. He dials it. He goes, "Oh, it's Steve Lawson." And he tells me it's.
I think what he's objecting to is the part before where he says he doesn't know.
What the number is, and that is on there. I can forward that through. I just need a minute, and I'm so sorry. You can let them go, and I'm not letting them go.
We'll
and
take
I
that 10-minute
apologize.
break, and you can fix that on the
I
tape.
will
that you
fix
started
it
that.
so that it'll start where there's no.
I'm sustaining your objections to the part before. We just start from dialing the number.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you can. Frank, we're going to go ahead and take that 10-minute break now. So if you can leave everything in your
All right.
seat there, the same admonitions are still in place. We'll start back at 3:40. So be back at 3:40.
I have to tell you guys, this is ridiculous. But where are we at over here? I was about to switch to a new video. So, not yesterday, but the day before, Elbafia came home with a peach, like the fruit, a peach, and I was like, "That's weird." And he said, "Yeah, one of his coworkers apparently gave him a peach, and from Sam's Club, because that's where he gets his peaches." Didn't think anything of it, and then he like put it in our room, and like we're in bed, watching TV, and he was like, "Babe, you've got to smell this peach. It's the best peach I've ever smelled before." Hold on, I'm gonna pause it. He was like, "It's the best smelling peach ever." I'm like, "Okay, fine." He was like, "Smell the peach." I was like, "Okay," and I smelled the peach, and let me tell you what, it's the best smelling peach I've ever smelled in my life. And now, disclaimer: we had partaked in some adult recreational activities that make you sleepy and hungry, if you catch my drift. But we just sat there passing this peach back and forth, just smelling it because it smelled so good. We didn't end up eating it because it just smelled too good. And so last night, the peach is still sitting there. We smelled the peach, and then I was like, "Babe, you're gonna have to eat it by like tonight or tomorrow because it's gonna go." But let me tell you what, It was so ridiculous. I was like, we're going crazy over just the smell of peach. But I'll tell you what, it was the best smelling peach I've ever smelled. We're adults. Yes, we are. Anyway, let's get back to this. Everybody do their stretches. Okay. Zoe, stop it. It was a wild time. Peach is the best smell. It was amazing. Oh, there he is. He is listening.
At this time, if the record reflects all 15 jurors have returned to the courtroom, everyone may be seated.
He's like, are you going to tell anybody? I was like, well, I already told my friends. He was like, did you tell them on the stream? And I said, no. But I'm going to.
Mr. Young, do you get us all put on our headpiece now? Yes. Okay.
Make sure I'm turned on here. Check. Yes.
Face Off is one of my favorite movies ever. So ever.
John, we're getting ready to listen to the phone call which you described that Mr. Houck is calling a number that is Steve Lawson, right?
Correct.
All right. And you verified at this point that Crystal left with Brooks' house, correct? That
Yes. All indications were that she left with him that afternoon.
And supposedly went to the farm, correct?
Correct.
Sam's
Okay.
Club peaches, apparently.
And this call was at 7 minutes after midnight, correct?
Yes, that sounds right.
So Mr. Houck would have already been on the road, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Coming back home, correct?
Coming back from the farm, yes.
To your knowledge, did Crystal have any other ride other than Mr. Houck coming back to the farm?
The information that I was given was that she returned home with him.
Okay. We can go ahead and play it, Trish. Now we can put the headphones on, I'm sorry.
Okay, who is Steve Lawson? He's somebody who works for me. Hey, Steve. Hey, I can't hear you real good. I'm gonna ask you to speak up a little bit, okay?
Okay, sir.
Hey, I was wanting to know. Hey, I've got some things going on next week. I'm gonna need your help with me. Are you already booked up, or can you help me?
I haven't looked up yet. I'm still looking for a place. That's why I needed them numbers from you.
All right. Well, I can write them all down and get them there for you. But I was actually talking about doing some more work with your little skid steer and so forth. Mine's still broke down.
Get with me tomorrow. I'm coming. I know you want proper time here because it's where I'm located at.
All right.
So just get in touch with me tomorrow and we'll see what we can do. But I just want to tell you I'm sorry about everything that's going on in your life, brother. And I got you in my prayers.
I said it is very difficult and trying time, but I appreciate you saying that. But hey, I need your help while I got you on the phone here. Do you remember the other night you called me really, really late, and I forgot what you asked me. Can you? I guess it wasn't on the phone. I might have been tired. I know it was pretty late at night. Can you remember what you asked me or what you were after? I can't remember.
Yes, sir, I can. I asked you for them numbers for her house.
Oh, for a rental house.
Yes, sir.
And what did I forgot? What did I tell you?
You told me that you would call, what's her name, Katie or whatever she handles all that.
Crystal.
Okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
And she said she handles all that, and that you would get back with me on it.
All right. Thank you so much now.
Hey, if there's anything I can do, you give me a call.
Thank you. You have a good night now.
Yes, sir. God bless.
Thank you.
By the way, we only have like an hour left for the day, in case anybody was wondering.
Now, that call was actually on July 8th that the Brooks Houck made to Steve then, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but they were discussing a call that was made on July 4th, a little bit after midnight, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And did you find anything unusual about the call we just listened to?
Yes. When Mr. Houck, when Mr. Lawson initially picked up, Mr. Houck asked him about doing some work for him, and Mr. Lawson immediately went into the story about trying to get rental property numbers from him.
Now, had Mr. Houck asked anything about
Just take all my
what the
money.
call was the other night at that point?
Not at that point, no.
Matter of fact, he had just said, want to talk to him about doing some skid loader work, right?
Correct.
Mr. Lawson's response was start talking about apartments.
Yes.
Now,
Or rental houses, I guess.
Rental
Not
houses.
apartments, but rental
Okay.
houses. Yes.
rental houses. And I think on that, Mr. Houck said that he would call Crystal, correct?
As we just heard, when he asked Mr. Lawson what he had told him, he told him that he would get a hold of Crystal and get him those numbers.
Okay. And the presumption being, when that phone call was made, if Crystal's going home with him, she's sitting next to him.
That would be my assumption.
Now, did you also download Brooks' Houck?
Yes,
Okay. With the Celebrite machine like you described earlier?
correct.
Okay. And did you know before that phone call, before that night, did you know anything? Did you know Steve Lawson?
No,
Okay.
I just noticed my face was covering the guy sitting behind me. We don't have the bailiff in.
Now, on July 9th, you've learned of Steve Lawson now, correct?
on the 8th.
On the 8th. What did you start doing on the 9th?
We had a lot going on. I tried to get a hold of some other people regarding interviews. We were discussing where we would go with the information that we had on the case.
And were you able to develop any information as related to Brooks Houck and Crystal Rogers, the status of the relationship?
On the 9th,
Yes.
Oh, thank you on Top X for the super sticker. Thank you. I'll put that towards my good smelling peaches fund.
we had, looks like we had
Thanks.
a vehicle
Appreciate
taken
you.
into the crime scene processing.
Did you do a search warrant for Steve Lawson's phone records?
We did do a search warrant for his phone records for AT&T. I don't see anything on the 9th with regard to their relationship status.
On July 15th was the first grand jury encounter.
I'm sorry?
July 15th of 2015.
Was
Did we
who?
start hearing evidence the grand jury?
Oh, yes, I didn't, but yes, the Nelson County Grand Jury did. I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right. And did you start interviewing workers on July 27th?
Yes, we interviewed numerous people.
Peach wine sounds great. Or plum
To
wine.
classify them as
actually.
workers, I think I put that in
Either
my
or.
report, but
Thanks,
most of the people that quote unquote worked for Brooks Houck were subcontractors, self-employed subcontractors. So yeah, we started interviewing multiple people, trying to gather information about his comings and goings, about their relationship, about what part of the business Crystal was involved in running, that kind of thing.
Okay. Were you able to develop anything as related to the relationship?
Yes, we talked to a few employees that had seen some explosive encounters on job sites between the two of them. One particular individual, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not, but gave a lot of information regarding that.
All right. And
About
on August
Stephen
13th.
Joseph fighting?
Okay, so on the 13th of August, we got search warrants for multiple cell phones of people involved in the case, one of which being
I have no
Steve
regrets
Lawson.
telling you
All
guys
right.
that story.
And
Were you able to obtain all 7 cell phones on the 3rd?
I was able to get 6 of the 7. Mr. Lawson refused to bring his in.
Which is
Did you all
fine.
contact Steve Lawson?
Assistant Sheriff Pinaroa at the time reached out to him and asked him to come in and bring his phone in. According to the assistant sheriff, in the text message that I later got off of the phone, was that he was told not to destroy or damage the phone.
Okay. And he refused to come in?
Correct.
I
And
mean,
at some point, did you all get Steve Lawson?
make them get a warrant for
Yes,
everything.
I believe Deputy Adams and Sergeant Mike Clark, I think he was a sergeant at the time, were able to locate him and
Great.
I believe they did a traffic stop on him and took the phone from him during that traffic stop.
Okay. And what did you all do with the phone you got the phone?
We would have taken it, they would have taken it and put it into evidence.
And was it in fact put into evidence?
I'm sorry, yes, as far as I know.
And at some point, did you give the phone or check the phone out and give it to Deputy Jamie Brooks?
Correct.
Okay. And was he able to take the phone to RCFL and download it?
Yes.
All right.
So they
So, up
arrested
to August
Steve
18th.
during a
August
traffic
18th,
stop
did you have a chance to
after
talk
he
to Steve
refused to give
Lawson?
him their
I
phone
did.
and
I
come in for
interviewed
an
him at the
interview.
Nelson County Sheriff's Department.
Okay. And was that interview recorded?
It was.
All right. And what information did you gain out of that interview?
Well, Mr. Lawson,
It works.
it was somewhat uninformative, but he basically affirmed that he knew Brooks Houck and that he had done some work for him, some skid steer work. Denied ever doing any drywall work or actually anything other than skid steer work, I believe, during that interview. I specifically asked him if he remembered making the phone call. He said that he sometimes got intoxicated and made phone calls late at night, mostly to his mother. He said that he could not remember the content of the phone call to Mr. Houck after midnight on the 4th.
Okay. Did he make any mention of whether or not he believed Crystal was alive?
He did. I actually said that I thought she was dead. And I asked him if he thought she was dead, and he said yes.
And in that interview,
That's nothing.
did he indicate to you whether or not he knew Crystal Rogers?
He started out, I believe, by saying that he knew her family and maybe knew her as a baby, and then he kind of distanced himself and said that he didn't know her and hadn't met her, I believe.
Right? I mean,
Did you ask him? We
maybe you
talked
should
about
start a
this
dating show.
phone call and about the weird beginning of it. Is that
That's the
correct?
way approach you make.
I assume you're going to play the call.
I'm getting ready to play. Yeah.
Then I think the best evidence is to play the call instead of continuing to ask this witness what my client said. Just play the call.
I'm allowed to put on what proof. I mean, as long as it's within the bounds of evidence, I can. I'm allowed to ask him what was happening in the interview and his take on it, and then play the call.
Here's what happened before that I'm a little concerned about. He asked this witness if something that he saw he thought was weird. I should have objected at that time. That is completely not appropriate for a detective to tell us what his personal belief was about items of evidence.
I
And to
have
state to
heard
this
that
jury
argument
that he found something that somebody did to be odd
before
is not
this.
appropriate. That's not appropriate
It's true.
evidence. It's not appropriate opinion evidence by a layperson.
Sure, if you want to make a contemporaneous objection, I'll be glad to take it.
I understand. What but my point is, before we keep going down that road, I just want to make sure that if he's going to play the call, can we just play the call instead of asking
We're
him?
getting close.
Okay.
Playing the call.
Right.
More questions?
I'm getting real close. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Carry on.
Yes. Now, did you ask the defendant about the July 3rd, 4th phone call after 7?
I did.
Okay, and did he remember it?
He seemed to remember making the phone call, but not the content of the phone call.
There you go.
Or I should say, probably he acknowledged the potential for making the phone call. He said he gets drunk sometimes and makes late night phone calls.
Are you talking about the lawyer, Simone?
Okay. And just
Or
so you
on
go and play the
topics,
interview,
because both can be true.
Headphones again, please.
Oh, I gotta.
There, on the phone records, there appears to be a phone call.
Sorry.
And Stephen is your first name, correct?
Yeah.
Is it PH or?
PH.
PH, yeah. What's your middle initials?
E.
Lawson. And let's get that phone number. What's your date of birth?
What's going on here?
Well, let me explain to you what's going on. I wasn't forthcoming with you on the phone because I don't like to do that kind of stuff over the phone. I like to look a man in the face.
Well, I will be face to face anyway.
So the reason that your name got involved in, obviously, you know, because you were on a conversation with him when he was in here talking to me. Do you recall that conversation?
I don't know, he called one day and asked me something.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was here.
Oh, you didn't? I thought we told you.
No, didn't
All right,
tell
so he was here talking to me when he called me.
me.
And he called and asked you about the phone call that you placed to him and shortly after midnight on the night that Crystal was last seen.
Is that the night that she?
Yeah, July the 3rd.
See, I don't even know that much.
So obviously that raises some curiosity about why you're calling him at 10 after midnight, particularly on that one particular weekend, you know, and you know, call me cynical, but coincidence is not really in my vocabulary.
Well, there is some coincidence and sometimes there's not. See,
Well, I'll just tell you that as a detective, the phone call that he made to you that night when he was sitting here with me, and the responses, the questions that he asked you and the responses that you gave him didn't sound just right. So that's why I called you again. I think I talked to you one more time on the phone.
I don't know, I was asleep when I was talking to somebody. I told somebody, look at you when I said I'm trying to wake up.
Well, you said when I asked you why you called him that late, you said sometimes you get to drink
Yeah.
and you call people late at the night.
Yeah, I hope mine look pretty.
Those people are the worst.
It didn't go too well, but.
Well, who?
No, yeah, it didn't go too well.
You don't do too good with that.
I got caught some pretty bad words. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, so how do you know Brooks?
You know, I've been drywalling for 30 years.
Would you say that you're the guy that drywalls most of his houses?
No, I really have never really done too much work for Brooks. He always liked my work, but evidently I was a little too high on the money chain for him. He's pretty tight.
Yeah. And so if you don't work for him regularly, how is it that you came to know him? Were you already renting a house?
No, I never rented for Brooks.
Okay.
I just seen him one day and I said, Brooks, I've got 2 or 3 weeks, how you doing nothing? You got anything to do? He said, yeah, come and help me. I can call him now and tell him if I ain't got nothing to do, tell me to come in.
So what did you help him do? Did you drywall for him?
No, but some people talk about that, I call it skin over.
I know something about
Okay. I skin all the grass off that lot. Is what I do. He didn't tell you that?
No.
He should have told you that, because that's what I've done. I can show you skin free. Oh, I'm sorry.
What is this shirt? Is it the American flag with a giant eagle on the front? Because I hope so.
Like 5 months.
Where at?
Fruit
Out fields or one of those.
Right at Woodlawn Golf Course. Every now and again, like I said, you want to go straight.
So let me ask you a question. Man,
Yeah, that's right.
so if all you know about the Crystal Rogers investigation is that you called him
At night,
Friday night
yeah.
at 10 after midnight, why would you run from me?
I ain't run from you.
You did run from me.
How did I run?
Now,
How did I run?
you gonna be honest with me?
Yeah, how did I run?
You were at 400 Thompson
Doesn't
Hill
talk
Road,
to you.
and when we reached out to you, you took off to Shepherdsville. When we wanted you to bring your phone in here,
Shepherdsville.
we wanted you to bring your phone in here,
And I said no.
and you took off.
I didn't go to Shepherdsville.
Where'd you go?
I was right here in Boston. I didn't go to
That's
Shepherdsville.
all I heard.
Well, I'll tell you, I used to live in Shepherdsville. So I did not go to Shepherdsville. I'll tell you straight up, I didn't go to Shepherdsville.
Why did you come in here?
Why should I have to? I haven't done anything.
Because I had a search warrant for your phone.
I'm not at that point in time.
Oh, yes, I did.
Like Friendly's, the restaurant chain?
You know, I
And then, but you know what?
Are
If
they
you'd
still
come in
around?
that day, we would have hooked it up to the machine, downloaded, and gave it right back to you.
Like from the 90s?
Now I had to ship it all the way to Ohio because that's where the FBI got it.
I don't even know why anybody would want.
Because it's, I told you why. I'm trying to find Crystal Rogers. I think she's probably dead. Do you?
Honestly, you know, imagine that.
Well, yeah. Do you think she's dead? I think she's dead.
And
I think
tell you
it's
right now,
there.
I don't know that I would say that.
It
Well,
is.
it's up to you what you say and you don't say. But I'm telling you,
It's
it sounds
It's
suspicious.
pitiful that she's got 5 babies
I agree.
and she's gone.
I agree.
And you know, I worked for Tommy. I've worked for Teal. I've worked for everyone. But Megan Ballard, my wife's best friend. You know, she's got a key to the house.
Who here thinks he's
That's
sober
how
in
much
this
I love
interview?
Lindy. Hell, he built that house out there.
No way.
How many did it? The same time that's when my old lady got shot. By accident, they don't be no red or not. Yeah, she did. But like I said, I've known my mom my whole life. Gave me a chance when I was 16 years old.
So why not come in here and tell me what you know?
But I don't know nothing other than I was drinking and calling.
How many times do you think you worked for it over the last couple of years?
Not much, probably 2 or 3 weeks. Altogether, yeah, something like that. And I probably wouldn't have done it then. I seen him down to the bank. I said, if you got anything to do, I ain't got nothing to do with it. He said, Steve, you know, love your work.
Right?
Love you.
So when you, I don't know much about building your unit and stuff.
It
Something.
sucks.
When you say you scraped the grass off, was that so he could build on the lot?
Yeah.
So was he digging?
Well, it
you
had
weren't digging basements?
No, it had to be cleaned off because it's cold out there. The grass had done got so high. It needed to be gone when neighbors was raising that. They said, we can't have this. You state you got to keep them clean. So he said, clean the damn things. I said, my problem, my own.
So you take it back down to dirt so it doesn't have.
Yeah,
any
so,
rust?
yeah, I took, it was full of thistles and everything. Of course, they were going on.
Okay.
Well, along those lines, do you remember the conversation that you had with your stepmom?
Not really. I'm right.
Okay.
I mean, you just want me to be honest, I'll be honest with you.
Well, I do want you to be honest, but here's my issue with that. When he called you up while he was sitting in that chair you were sitting in, and said, "Do you remember when you called me the other night?"
Well, I remember calling, but
You said,
as far as the
"Well,
conversation,
let me finish talking." He asked you,
The
What did
cinnamon
you
ones.
and you told him. You remember what you told him?
do you know?
Yeah, I did.
Well,
know, 'cause I was sitting right
Well,
there.
they tell me what I'm saying.
Well, but here's my thing. How would you remember it then, and you don't remember it today?
I don't remember a lot of things.
But you did remember. it.
I mean, I remember
Shock
calling
of
my
no one.
And you answered his questions on the phone. You had it on speaker.
I mean, that's fine. If y'all say I did, I
I'll
believe
show
you.
you the video.
That's fine. We're in here. I'm sorry with you, man. That's
So,
one thing. I don't lie to nobody. It is what it is.
So, but if you were drinking,
Yeah,
enough to be calling people at 10 after midnight,
yeah, that's probably a good thing in the first place. Let's make that straight.
then how do you remember did he tell you what to say when he called you?
Did he tell me what to say?
Well, how do you remember what you said to him? You said you answered his questions in the interview.
Well, I would tell
You
you what
told
I did.
him. Well, but here's my thing, is I don't want to tell you what you said.
Oh, okay.
I want you to tell me what you remember.
I don't remember much. When I'm telling you, here's the way things go. When I hit my head in 2003, I ain't gonna use that for no excuse. I do forget things. I don't like to forget things, but I do.
Sure.
You know, and that sucks.
So what I'm asking you is, how did you remember that night when he called?
I mean,
Did he tell you what to say when he called?
not that I know of. Why would he want to tell me what to
Well,
say?
well, that's not really an answer, Steve.
What's
Not that I know of.
No, that's what
Did
I'm
he
saying.
tell you or did he?
No, that's what I'm saying, but why would he tell me what to say?
Well, if he's got something to hide, he might want you to answer a question a certain way.
Well, I'm telling you right now, I won't hide nothing from nobody. My son will tell you that, and you might arrest me right here when I say this. I bought a swing at me here just about 2 weeks ago, 3. So I put it on his head. And I didn't have no choice, you know. You don't let kids beat you up.
Oh, I'm not here about it.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I'm here trying to find a missing woman.
That's what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. I won't even lie about that. If I got arrested for it, if you arrest me for doing that right now, I still won't lie to you about it. It is what it is.
So how then did you remember the conversation when he called you on the phone the night that he said
Well, I don't know. You really want the answer? I don't know. If you don't like that answer, I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want else to tell you.
Did you talk to Crystal that night?
I seen Crystal one time. He brought her, I think it was a red car. Drove up out there to where I just told you, with Llama. They were both in it. I didn't even know he had a child with her until all this took place. Didn't know she had a baby with the child. I thought the man was single.
Well, when he called you sitting in that chair, and you said, he said, why did you call me that night? And you said, to get phone numbers for rentals.
Well, yeah, my daughter's trying to rent a house, not me. My daughter's trying to rent.
But he said that he told you that you'd have to call back later and talk to Crystal.
Was that, I don't know who Crystal was at that point. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know who took care of any of his housing, not nothing. And my daughter is still trying to rent a house.
I mean, he did call her
Right
Katie.
now. Whether she gets it or not is a different program. That's between them. It's got nothing to do with it. It's that simple. Would I rent a house from her? Maybe. I don't know if I would now or not. Because I done got wrapped up to a friggin' mess because I'm an old country boy and trying to make an honest living. And I done got wrapped up in a mess over nothing.
Yeah,
And
he's
that's
that kind of
something
guy
I
that'll just keep
Man,
telling.
face to face. I don't like it. I'm not. I'm just no country. I'm an old country boy.
But what you're telling me and what you told me before and what you said on the phone with him is not adding up.
What?
That's why you wrapped up in it.
I can't help that. Look at his phone. Whatever y'all want to do, you'll see. I would never hurt anybody. Period. Somebody. If I guess I would if they tried to hurt me today. If I would have to say.
Really?
Other than that, I broke up too bad to be funny.
So you feel like you're doing the right thing and all this?
Well, why have I done the right thing?
I don't know.
I've never hurt anybody. And if that's what people want to accuse me of, then we have a serious issue.
Did somebody accuse you of hurting?
No, but that's what I'm saying. If somebody did, we'd have a serious issue.
I mean, I very much do think Steve talked his way into these charges.
You're telling me.
Don't talk to them without a lawyer.
To me now, the 10 after
Shut
midnight
up.
phone call that you made to him on the night she went missing is just a coincidence.
You damn right it is. You know, just do what you think you gotta do, you know. Just like I said, be fair with him, give a couple days notice, so I can tell him, and yeah, he'll be straight with it, pretty sure of it.
Okay.
I mean,
I wasn't kidding about sending your phone to Ohio, so as soon as it gets back, you're going to have
Sir,
it
I
back.
need to see the front of that shirt.
I'll tell you, I don't trust the phone, man, but
And you don't have to have Mike. I'm just saying.
There is an eagle on the back of it. There's probably one on the front. America. I mean, yeah, but everybody says he's a bullshitter, and I
Now,
can't really see that.
in that conversation, we heard Mr. Lawson mention 2 or 3 times that he never hurt that girl.
Correct.
Is that correct? Did you ever bring that up?
No.
Was there ever mention of him even hurting a girl?
No.
But this is a month and a half after she disappeared. I think that's drawing the
Did you ask him
conclusion
during
that
that
she's
interview if
probably
Brooks
not
asked him
alive
to tell you what to say?
is the most
Yes, I did.
probable.
And what was his response?
I believe he said, what, How did he respond? He said that something to the effect of, why would he do that, or something like that.
Now, did you get his phone? Did you download his phone?
Yes.
Okay. And this,
I bet he does.
did he remember when you talked to? Did he remember the call? What the substance of it was?
So we talked about two different phone
Talking
calls.
about the one at
The one
midnight.
he did not remember it. I ended up telling him what he said the substance was on the phone that day with Brooks.
Okay, so on August 18th, he did not remember what the substance of the call was.
That's correct. According to what he said.
On the July 4th call, correct?
Yes.
Okay. But on July 8th, he did. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Or-
And
So it seemed on the phone.
That's right.
he had told you in that interview he never left the house.
Be like on
Is that correct?
topics.
Yes.
Okay. Now, at some point, did he appear in front of the grand jury?
Yes. With Terry Goheg and the Commonwealth Attorney.
How long is this?
I mean, I don't think we never saw Steve's. I don't think we saw that interview. We saw the two where he's wearing the y'all
You got a
crazy.
chance to listen to the grand
But I
jury,
don't
is that
think we
correct?
Yes.
touched that
Okay,
one.
and this is a copy of selected portions. Does that fairly accurately represent those?
Yes, it was what we saw before.
Yes. Judge, I've moved to introduce comments to number 22.
Any
and ask
objections?
the player.
Any objections to 22?
The only
Grand
objection to that would
jury.
be if, I assume when he said it's cut up portions, it's not cut up portions of Mr. Lawson's testimony, it's just cut up portions of the grand jury.
It's cut up portions of, it's the grand jury's like an hour long. So we took out, there's selected portions out of the grand jury, yes.
But are you playing the entire statement that Mr. Lawson gave to the grand jury?
No.
Oh, we're gonna.
But it is Mr. Lawson.
It's Mr. Lawson's testimony, yes.
Any objection?
Ask an objection. Make him play the whole thing. I just want to hear the whole thing.
I understand that the Commonwealth is allowed to put on what they want, but out of kind of a flow of this thing, I would anticipate that we would want the entire. If they're gonna just play 18 minutes, we're gonna want the whole thing played. We can do that, but does it make more sense?
They can't do that. He has to get on the witness stand
Well, they just can't pick pieces of a grand jury.
and give you the cases.
I'd like to see those cases. Doctrine of completeness requires them to play. So could they theoretically, the judge, then could they would play one question and then an answer from another question? No. Right. My point is, if that's
No. These are complete questions and answers. They're not, these aren't
Most of the credits are
stuff that you don't want them to get in.
trying to.
really,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
You doing us a favor?
No, I just don't want to say it for an hour.
You know, and
I
Mr.
mean, I
Lawson
got him
is not a
talking about-
short-winded person. When he answers questions, he talks about 20 things that are irrelevant to the question. And so those things have been cut so that we can actually get to the point of what was the answer to the question.
Well-
I'll allow the Commonwealth to proceed and play their portions, but certainly if there's something being misrepresented, you have a right to ask about, is there something else on that tape that's missing?
Boo.
So I assume you've not made a ruling then as far as whether if we want to play the whole thing. Is that
Not made a ruling on it. They said they had some case law on it. I'll let them look at that. So we're getting late in the afternoon. I don't think we're going to get to your cross on this.
who wants to look at case law at this time anyway?
So-
Right.
But I'll let
Okay.
you go ahead and proceed. Like I said, if you think something's being misrepresented, I'd certainly allow you to cross-examine all of that.
Would you folks be willing then when we leave here, just so we can? I'm not
I
gonna.
haven't said it.
Yeah. Would you mind doing that?
I can do that.
If we're not getting to our cross, then we can have to rewatch it again this evening to see if there's any material
I mean, that's
stuff we're concerned about. I guess.
It's looking like if it's 18 minutes, it would also be tomorrow. So
yeah. So
Yeah, that's what I mean.
as long as we're on the same page, you folks will send us a copy of that so that we can then compare it to the full thing and see if we think there's any misrepresentations and or other issues. You want us to take that?
I don't care. I'm going to bring it back.
Do what's that?
I take the flash drive of this as they want to. I mean, if they bring it back.
I got an idea. How about we take it? Because I don't want to take it. I think you already introduced it. I'm getting ready to introduce it. So then it's evidence. So I don't want to take that from the courthouse. But what we could do, we'll take it back to council table right now and have one of our gals download it. And then we can give it back to the court and it can stay in evidence. And we don't have any issues with removal of evidence from the court.
Perfect. Go ahead and play your portions.
I like that he comes with solutions. Like, well, we can just do it this way because it seems like a lot of people are not tech savvy. I mean, we saw that. But I think back there in the corner by the door is our favorite little bailiff. I think that's him. I don't know who these people in suits are. That's true. Those that speak the loudest, right?
I swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Can you state your name, please?
Steve Lawson.
And Mr. Lawson, do you live in Nelson County?
Yes, sir.
And how are you employed?
I'm self-employed, plus I also work for another gentleman in Louisville.
Okay. When it's self-employed, what kind of work do you do?
Drywall.
By the way, you never hear grand jury stuff.
Where do you live in Nelson County?
That'll be 149 Sycamore Springs.
Okay. Are you married?
Yes, sir.
Do you have children?
Yes, sir.
What's your wife's name?
Tammy Lawson.
And how many children do you have?
I've got one son and 2 stepdaughters.
Okay. Do you currently have a telephone?
Yes, sir.
And what is that number?
That's 452 550 1600.
Interrogator.
How long have you had that number?
Oh,
Okay. Do you have any other telephones, any other telephone numbers?
yeah, that one here. I don't know how to check the number. I don't know how to get to the number.
Okay. Is it a, you know what company it's through?
It's just a track phone. Somebody used for work.
How long have you had the track phone?
6 months.
Okay. Recently, the police asked for you to turn over your phones. Did you turn over both telephones to them?
No, all the one was at one.
Okay. Did you tell them you had a track phone? Okay. Would you agree to turn the track phone over to the police?
I reckon if they want it. No more text messages or nothing. I don't guess.
What do you do with it?
I just off and on time.
Okay.
Really? Never seen such a thing before.
Okay. And have you had any other telephones, let's say in the last 6 months, besides the 550-1604?
4 bailiffs in there. And that's
Okay.
like their job.
And
So
that track phone, have you had any other telephones during the last 6 months?
No, sir.
Have you? There are methods that you communicate with other folks besides the track phone and that one telephone you told us about?
Well, that's my wife's phone. My
Right.
phone's over there, and I don't know my own phone. They've got my phone to the police station.
Okay, so we've got your wife's phone, a track phone, and you're saying there's another phone?
My phone's to the police station.
Okay, what number is?
I don't know.
Okay, so there's 3 telephones you've used,
I got 3 phones. This one, my wife's, and one's to go to the police station.
and those are the only 3 phones you've used in the last 6 months that you can.
they'll do it. I'm telling you.
How do you know Brooke Houck? Long time. He's a builder, of course. I've always drywalled and everything. Just that kind of thing.
Okay. Do you know Nick Houck? On Brooke Houck, how long would you say that you've known him? 20 years, is that correct?
Yeah, probably since the beginning.
Okay. And how would you describe your relationship with him?
Work, right? Just here and there, not very much of that.
Do y'all do any social activities together? You ever go after work? Anything with him other than be in a, I guess, a contract or subcontractor relationship?
No, we don't.
How many times would you say that you've acted as a contractor or subcontractor for him?
Well, to be honest with you, maybe a half a dozen times.
Over 20 years? Have you ever been regularly employed by him?
No, sir.
Is there any time, what would you say the average amount that he pays you to do to do a drywall project for him or whatever?
Didn't do drywall, did Bobcat work.
Bobcat, okay. Is there any other, besides Bobcat and drywall, are there any other jobs that you do for him?
For my house.
Okay. Besides framing, Bobcat, and drywall, is there any other things you do for him? When is the last time you did any Bobcat work for him?
Oh. 3 months.
And what was that?
After the golf course, he wanted me to skim some grass off of his lot. Said something about the homeowners association and grass and hay. So that's what.
How much would you say you skimmed off of?
Inch.
Okay. Do you own your own Bobcat?
Well, me and my partner used to have one, but I just said I belong to him.
Okay. Who is your partner?
Jeremy Thompson.
Jeremy Thompson. Okay.
And the Thompson Hill.
When did the Bobcat become belonging to him? And what were the circumstances for that? Had fallen out and he ended up in Bobcat. Okay. Did the falling out have anything to do with Brooks Houck or Nick Houck? When is the last time you did any job for him that you can remember? 2 months ago, and that was the job skimming that off?
That was the job skimming it there.
Okay. Other than that job, what other jobs have you done for him?
As soon as I got done with that, I helped him frame a house up. That's about it. And I hadn't done a job for him probably
10 years? Except those 2 jobs?
I was too high to sit on the ground on bees.
Okay. And have you had any other contact with him whatsoever other than those 2 jobs in the last 10 years?
No, I was even seeing him on the road.
And no other contact whatsoever?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Approximately how much do you pay you, just ballpark for doing that?
What's help him frame? We got the skin.
Skim first.
$30.
How much on the frame?
16.
15?
15 or 16 out of the time. It was one of the 2.
Besides those 2 jobs that he paid you, has he paid you or given you any money anytime in the last 3 months?
No, sir.
Has he given you or paid you anything else in the last 3 months?
No, sir.
Has he promised you anything at all in the way of payment or gifts or doing anything for you in any way whatsoever in the last 3 months?
No, sir. I called one night from my daughter. She was wanting to rent a house for me, and they said that was the same night the young lady disappeared.
Okay. Tell us about the telephone call.
Called him, asked him about renting a house. My daughter was wanting to rent a home from him. Said I had to call the young lady. Waited till about, come in drinking, waited till about 12 o'clock at night. Never heard nothing back. Called again. Didn't hear nothing. Didn't find out.
Okay. The first time you called him, you remember what time of day that was?
No, sir.
Second time you called him, you said you had done some drinking and then you called him?
Yeah, about 2 o'clock it might have been time.
When you called him that second time when you were doing some drinking, what did you say and what did he say?
I don't remember if he ever picked up the phone or not, but I do remember calling him and I asked him, he wanted me to call Chris. I didn't have Chris's number. I needed his number. I don't believe I ever got the number.
Okay. When you called him that night around midnight, again, do you remember, you said you called to get Crystal's number?
Yes.
And what did he say?
Don't recall. I can see it. I couldn't remember drinking. I ain't gonna lie to you, a lot of drinking.
Where were you drinking?
At the house.
Okay, you drinking with anybody?
Yeah, me.
Anybody else?
No, just me.
Did you, are you saying the drinking is what made you call around midnight?
Yeah, I did the same thing to my mom every time.
Okay, so if we looked at your phones, it would show you making drunk calls at midnight more than once.
Yes. To my mother most of the time.
Okay. Do you have any medical conditions that affect your memory?
Yeah, not that I know.
When you made the call to the police, I'm sorry, when you made the call to Brooke Houck around midnight, what phone were you using?
Police, yeah.
Okay. Where are you working at presently?
Where am I working at prison?
Yeah.
Clarksville.
Clarksville. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other plans to work for Brooke Houck?
Nope.
Have you and him had any other conversations since the conversation you had at midnight?
Nope.
Do you recall a time that he called you after that when he was talking to the police department?
Yep.
Okay, so you did have a conversation.
Well, I mean, I thought it was all the same.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you had one other conversation with him after that midnight call because John Snow was talking to him. Okay, and Brooke called you while they were talking, is that correct?
Yeah, I was with the police department.
Okay, I understand. When Brooke made that call to you, Brooke was at the police department?
Yes, sir.
Okay, where were you at?
At home.
Okay. Do you remember what Brooke told you then?
Yeah, it was something about, do you remember what she called me for? A blanket.
Okay.
Thing.
And what did you say?
I rent the house, I do believe.
Okay, and what did he say?
That I'd have to get in touch with Crystal. Is that right?
Okay, and that's what he told you the call was that you and him talked about that night?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the night that you made that call, that was the night, or Friday night, July 3rd, Saturday morning, July 4th. Was that?
I don't know the day.
Okay. Well, do you remember it was July 4th weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If I told you that the phone record showed that it was the night of July 3rd, the morning of July 4th, would you disagree with that?
No, I would believe you.
Okay, all right.
Maybe that's why I was drinking. It was a holiday.
Okay. Now, and when he made the call the next time, he was with the police, with John Snow, and he called you, and you all talked about what that earlier phone call was then. And you told him, I'm just asking if this is correct, you told him that it was that you called about your daughter needing a house. And what did he tell you? Did he remember the call then, or what did he tell you?
I think he told me I had to get in touch with Crystal.
Okay. And did you say, well, when can I talk to Crystal?
Actually, I think I told him I needed Crystal's number, and I don't think I can. No, matter of fact, I know I didn't get the number.
Okay. After we've talked about it now, do you recall making that call?
Oh, you're finally getting your oil change.
And that's what he
Tires
told
done?
you that he said that you need to talk to Crystal.
Maybe, like I said, I've told her I wish.
Okay, but the second time he called, that's what you all.
Yeah, that's what we
decided.
did have.
That is a very
You did
good
have
life
a
lesson.
conversation then that you needed to talk to Crystal, and he said you'd have to talk to her sometime.
Yes.
And he didn't let you talk to her that night.
No, sir.
Did he tell you that she was in the truck with him that night?
No, sir.
Did he tell you that she was not in the truck with him that night?
No, sir.
When you talked to him, did you know that he was driving in a vehicle that night?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay, you just knew that you talked to him.
Well, I talked to him. That's all I knew.
Now, That was, again, would you disagree with me that that was the weekend of July 3, July 4th?
No, I wouldn't disagree with you, just I don't know.
Okay. Then can you tell me what you did on July 4th, that Saturday? Most people remember what they did July 4th. I had a little cookout at my house. Most people remember what they did.
I did nothing.
Okay. But you were at your house. Okay, on that, do you
No,
know
that's
if
not
you worked the day before on that Friday?
We went over to Elbow Feet's parents this year. That's right.
But I work just about every day, so I'm going to say yes.
Do you know that would be, just a few months ago. Do you remember where you're working at then?
You see, I had to be.
I feel like I bit my lip. It's been bugging me for like 2 days.
I might have been working for this company I'm working for now. I don't know exactly how long I've been working for, but I can find out for sure.
If you can find out for sure, could you get back with us?
I can do this.
And on that Saturday, you said you made a call at midnight or a little after midnight. On that Saturday, July 4th, did you do anything with your wife and your kids and stepkids? Do you think you stayed home that day?
Pretty much.
Did your daughter ever rent a house?
I actually, she tried
Be
to
careful.
rent one from me, and I told her not to.
Okay.
So,
Did you talk to detective? But you have maybe used your wife's phone in sometime in the last 6 months.
yeah, I've talked to every call Brooks to call my other boss or places like that.
Have you ever driven a car or been in a car to your knowledge that Crystal Rogers either owned,
I
or
suppose.
drove, or was known as Crystal's car?
We got one truck I've been into with Brooks' truck.
And when was that?
Picked me up at this job, went to this house, we drove to the other house, same place.
How long ago would that be?
When I was in the contract.
And you think you've never seen Crystal Rogers in person?
I don't think I've ever met her.
Everybody's hungry.
Has anybody ever asked you to participate in anything to do with harming Crystal Rogers or hiding any evidence or the body of Crystal Rogers?
And so when was it you were in this front?
That day, when we get done, he asked me would I help him. They was putting plywood on the side. He said, will you help me finish framing this up? Yes, sir. Picked me up at the end of the road. Same, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, I want everybody to ask me anything you want.
Do you know when that was? Yeah.
No, sir, I really don't.
You know, it was before she disappeared or after she disappeared?
That was before. That was before, yes. Now, I do know that much because I called him that night and the detective told me, this is pretty well, I'm going to your phone. I think he was asking, talk to Brooks. I thought that's what he said.
Yeah, no question. When you skim the dirt off,
Yes,
that's before she disappeared.
that was before, yes.
Okay, would that have been like a month before, or a few days before, or 2 months before?
Maybe a week, two, somewhere in that area.
I don't think that's true either, because the HOA guy testified in Brooks' thing that he was going to be getting a letter about not taking care of the grass.
Believe it or not, was surprising. I figured somebody like him would always write a check for tax purposes, in my opinion.
When he paid you before, did he pay you with a check or cash?
Cash.
Every time he paid you, he paid with a check or cash? Did the cash come from him or did it come from Crystal Rogers?
He pulled it out of his wallet. That's all I can tell you.
And again, do you remember basically how much he paid you for doing the work that day that you said that you skimmed that off?
Well, I did about 10 to 12 hours worth of work at $30 an hour to do the math. And then we took another 3 hours, maybe 4 hours. Time done got dark.
So $300 or $400.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Foresee Crystal Rogers or anybody else around that day around him? You've never seen her at all?
No, I'm seeing, I knew of her, never got to meet her.
And foresee
So he took you back to where the lots were and you drove truck Bobcat behind it back to where?
No, he come, the truck, Bobcat stayed here. He used to come down, he asked for a help bring. I said, yep. He said, get in the truck, go back to the house. It was maybe 7 houses up from that. The lot.
Bobcat get home.
Oh, we took it home, I took it home that night. Yeah, well, I took my own Bobcat home that night, yeah.
You did.
Yeah,
You need to go back to your house.
yeah, well, I actually took it back to Thompson.
Interesting.
Now, in that grand jury,
Mess.
did Steve Lawson remember the July 4th, little after midnight call?
Well, there was a little bit of confusion about whether he was talking about multiple calls or a single call, but he did have a recollection of a phone call regarding rental properties with Mr. Houck.
Was there ever 2 phone calls made?
No, there was only one phone call that we could look at.
And that was the one shortly after midnight?
That's correct.
Okay. Let's talk about, you said you entered Crystal in NCIC, right, the National Crime Information Center?
Yes,
All right. And that would alert you if she was ever stopped by the law enforcement, when they run their driver's license, they pop up missing person or whatever, they know alert you, is that correct?
or social or name and date of birth, any of the combination of those things.
So what other systems did you list her on?
So in the eventual of the case, we listed her in the violent crime apprehension program, which is run by the FBI. It's a database for potentially victims of violent crimes, for if they've been located, somebody that's unidentified or something of that nature. So you list her particulars in their height, weight, eye color, hair color, any tattoos or distinguishing marks. Also in the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System, the NAMUS system, which would also, if you are an investigator in another jurisdiction and you locate an unidentified deceased person, that is one of the areas where you would go to look for anyone who fit the description of the individual that you've located.
Did you receive anything fruitful in the last 10 years? Have you received anything fruitful out of those systems?
No, I can't speak for what happened after 2019 when I retired, but nothing came in from any of those databases prior
Okay,
to my
I
retirement.
thought he retired.
Any information? Do you have any not relevant, but credible information about her?
As to her whereabouts, no.
All right, we're all able. Has there been any indication, whether it be electronic footprint, arrest, that people have seen her, that panned out in the last 2 years?
No, not to my knowledge. There's been no indication of her existence beyond that night on the 3rd of July, 2015.
And I heard you in an interview, Steve agreed with you, Mr. Lawson agreed with you, the defendant, that you believe she's deceased, correct?
That's correct.
Now, why? I got one last question. Why were you so focused on what happened late the 3rd and the 4th? Why did you focus in on that so much as a detective?
Well, there was no credible information that she ever made it home. All of the information that we had ran us up until the time that they went to the farm, and there was nothing beyond that that led me to believe that she was at home.
I think you said you had a witness that saw her leave the house, correct?
Yes, her daughter.
All right. Was there anybody that saw her come home?
No.
Do you have any proof at all, anything that she did come home?
No.
Judge, I don't have any further questions.
Let me
I
see.
need to introduce one thing. I need to introduce exhibits 20, 21, 22, and 23.
Any objections to exhibits 21 through 23?
No, we still got a little bit of time though.
Sure. Why not? All right, if you could get. Which exhibit are you looking at for the
23, Your Honor. And if I recall correctly, Shane, he only focused on one
He
thing.
did. The rest of it's kind of, I'll be honest, I can block it out.
Yeah, but I would
There's
just ask
nothing
that
on
it be
there
blocked
that's
out.
prejudicial or anything.
Right. So what I don't want to happen, of course, is these jurors get that back there and they start
No,
looking
that's
at
fine.
this stuff, and it's so.
Make sure my microphone.
Let's redact it. And
I'll take care of it. Yeah.
With that, no objection if it's redacted.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Judge. I went and looked for the cases because I was sitting there while that was playing. Shrinkshire is the primary case that talks about the rule of completeness as to the defendant's statement and portions being played. As long as those portions are not edited in a way that would change the meaning of what was said. I'm sorry, I can write it down for you, Darren, but as long as it doesn't change the meaning of what is said, then the Commonwealth is free to play whatever portions that they desire, and the defendant cannot play the entire statement if it hasn't changed those portions. It hasn't changed the meaning of those portions. So if you said, I shot him in self-defense and I took out the self-defense, obviously that changes the meaning of that portion.
Yeah, we'll
appreciate it if you just get that back to me and I'll take a look.
It just for the record, I have made a copy of what was played. Okay, I put it back in evidence, so we're not taking it with us.
Okay.
Then we will compare that tonight with what the full thing was. Make a copy of this. Review the case.
You know who I think would play that lawyer in a movie? He doesn't have gray hair, but he gives me Conan O'Brien vibes. Maybe it's the height in the hair. I don't know.
I don't think so. Not unless I don't have a witness.
I think that's the only thing we.
Oh, we don't have any storms for a couple of days, actually.
That were noticed to be here on
I don't know.
Monday, 9 o'clock in the morning. We never really addressed it at the start of the trial. I don't know whether I assume they've left.
I did see Charlie and I saw
Well, yeah, Mr.
Amber Bowman.
Amber Bowman was not left. Miss Bowman did.
Why don't I let the jury go home?
Yeah,
Let's get this out here. Brandon, if you could turn off the copy of this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
Me
we're going to let you all
too.
go home for the day at this point. I know you're glad to hear that. I want you to remember the same admonitions are still in place. You're going to get tired of hearing me say this, but do not discuss this case among yourselves. Do not let anyone discuss this case with you.
I know, I'm
If
trying
anybody
to-
attempts to discuss this case with you, I need you to immediately report that to me. You're not to finally make up your mind about the case until all the proof has been presented, you've received the instructions from the court, and you've gone to the jury room to deliberate. I know when you go home tonight, most of you probably have a spouse or a child or somebody living with you. They're going to ask what you got chosen for today. Just tell them that Judge Sims said it's classified and you can't talk about it, okay?
Mhm.
And if they try to talk about it, they know something going on, tell them, stop, I can't hear anything about it. Please do not look at any stories that's in the media about this. Be careful watching the news tonight because it could be on your news. So just try not to go out of your way to make sure you don't do that.
Oh yeah, we don't got no rain till Sunday.
You'll come back in the back side of the courthouse again tomorrow.
Maybe.
You'll be back in the jury room at 8:30 in the morning. Does anybody have any questions before we let you go today? We'll see you guys in the morning. Thank you. I'm going to go with the lady.
See, do they talk about anything else? They must, because they're in there for a while. I think let's zoom and see. Oh,
Yes,
Before people leave, could we approach?
Certainly.
I want to address something with the court.
okay. Yes, please.
Judge, and I believe that you were going to take that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. I will say this before I say what I'm getting ready to say.
I can't wait for him and Shane to get into it.
It may, where is that order? This was rehearsed beforehand, Judge. It's in here, I promise. Okay. All right. You issued a court order on, like, it was entered on 5/13 of 25.
Okay.
The order is pertaining to media, court security, and courtroom decorum. And one of the specific things that you ordered was, where's that? What's that? On the back page. Okay. All right. And again, when I say this, I know that it may come off initially petty, but I want to put it on the record and ask the court for guidance on this. And if you
I do
read
like that
number
one.
9, the proper decorum shall be maintained to ensure a fair trial and to assure that there is no improper influence of the jurors. As a result, the following shall be prohibited in the courtroom. Any clothing which expresses a message related to the case. Any signage, banner, poster, button, or similar expression or similar item expressing any view about the case. Here's what I have looked on the internet and discovered. It's basically Team Crystal. Their color is pink, and when you wear pink, you are indicating that you're on Team Crystal. And you are not, Your Honor, nor am I. But we have one of the prosecutors wearing pink. We also have multiple people in the gallery wearing pink. And again, I know it may sound.
I guess when I look out there, I only see 4 people wearing pink.
And then the gentleman, 1, 2. There's 3, 4. I see at least 8 or 9 of them. And again,
I guess it depends on what you define as pink, because some look orange to me.
Do we really think that it was just random chance that they wore those colors? I don't think that the answer.
Okay, well, I guess it's not saying any type of message on it, and as long as the Commonwealth doesn't get up there and say, "Are you all?"
It's true.
For some reason, if I'm on the jury, I myself didn't notice any color scheme or anything myself. When I look out there, I do see some people in pink, but it's not like a UK game where I see everybody in blue or a Louisville game where everybody in red.
I completely understand, but with a UK team, you know that blue is their color. Why? Because they've been around for a bazillion years, and everybody knows that there's license plates and everything else. If you look at the internet, you're going to see that Team Crystal is pink. And I know it's not been around for a bazillion years, but the idea is that they're.
I've heard of this.
I understand. I'm bringing it to the court's attention. I'm not asking you to do anything at this point.
If I get involved with any trial, please don't make my color pink. That's Terry's color.
You said 8. I just don't see 8
out there. I don't want to turn around. I don't want to make them uncomfortable.
And some are light pink and some are darker pink. But yeah, there's pink out there, but I didn't even notice it looking out there today. So,
and what I don't want to do, Judge, is call attention to it and make it even worse. So I'm bringing it to your attention now so that we can all be on the same page, so to speak, that we find it to be an issue. And if we see anything more than that tomorrow, we would like to address it again.
Sure.
Well, they shouldn't be looking at the internet to look up Team Crystal, because you've admonished them not to look
tried.
up. And I've been involved in this thing a lot less than you have, and I've never heard anything about it.
Bullshit. You've heard of it.
We found that on the internet. I can go find it and bring it to you if you'd like me to.
Tell me you didn't know that. Get out of here.
Honestly, I don't remember what outlet it was. Yeah, you know, there's so much.
I think it was a movement initiated by the family or her beloved, friends, family, that kind of thing.
I was just so glad when I got to the hotel. I said I couldn't find on a local station. I had to watch the ball game. I was like, oh, I don't have to listen to this case.
Yeah, right.
I own a lot of gray and black stuff.
Thanks
as
for letting
well.
me put that on the record.
Yes, sir. There was something else we were going to address when the jury left.
Well, it was the witnesses that have been subpoenaed, and obviously this isn't an objection or anything, substantive as it relates to what's occurred today. But we have a few people that were subpoenaed, and the subpoenas that indicate May 27 at 9 a.m. No, I believe
I don't
Charlie
know.
Miller
I
was
haven't
here.
been out there looking for
Leland
anybody.
Ramon was here. I believe Justin Hall is here. But I also heard the Commonwealth say Justin Hall was somebody you all were to call too. So I'm sure you all join the meeting. And I'm not worried about Mr. Hall, because Mr. Hall's in routine contact.
Well, and I talked to you about Snelling. I told you I'd call. I was going to call.
Is there somebody you want me to bring in and recognize?
Well, there's one person we have a bit of controversy with, and that's Thomas Jett. And
I'm familiar with Mr. Jett.
Who's Thomas Jett?
Well, I got one that I may be having an issue
I'm
with. I
not.
don't know yet, and I'll have to let Your Honor know in the morning.
Well, and I'll just put the court on notice now. I'll try to be very brief because I know everybody's ready to get out of here. We have a private investigator that approached Mr. Jett for the second time, provided the subpoena to him. Mr. Jett said, "You don't have the authority to issue a subpoena against me," which he does, and proceeded to walk to the car with our private investigator and throw the subpoena in the trash.
Oh.
Basically said, "You can shove it."
Wow.
And so now we have the issue of
That would be indicative of some of the behavior I've seen from Mr. Jett. So that's not shocking.
So the court, the good news is the court is aware of
Yes, I know
Mr.
Mr.
Jett's
Jett,
antics.
yes,
So But we want to bring that to the court's attention because we don't know what guidance we need to ask the court for.
Do you want me to bring him in and recognize him to be back?
Well, he's probably not here because I don't think he honored the subpoena, so we need to know what the court means.
If he's not here, you give me an affidavit, I'll share pick him up and bring him here.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
I've done
wow.
that before. Same with Kamala. Somebody didn't show up.
I don't know who Thomas Jett is, but
You would consider what we just described as appropriate service?
Yes, I think
we have a recording of it as well.
Yeah, as long as you can show me he's been served with proof of it. He wasn't here, and you can give me an affidavit saying he wasn't here and he was served. I'll have the sheriff pick him up.
Yeah, I believe Mr. DeBaser maybe filed the subpoena, but regardless, we have proof of it. So.
I don't think there's any returns of any subpoenas in the file.
We'll check with Mr.
I looked today, and there was neither side had returned.
I can see that.
I was thinking I was going to get it, but nobody's subpoena. It was going to be an easy day.
As far as the the swearing of a witness to return, if we do find in the hallway Mr. Miller or
Charlie was here.
I know he was, but here's what I don't want to have happen. What I don't want to have happen is he didn't get called today, so he's like, I'm done, I'm out of here. And you can get a hold of him. Okay, we'll take.
Miss
If you
Bowman,
want me to recognize him, I'm willing to do that.
yeah, Miss Bowman's been very cooperative, so I don't want to. She had asked me what needs to be done. I indicated to her she'd been waiting around for 2.5 hours in the room by herself. I said, we'll call you back. If we have issues with her, obviously we'll bring it to the court's attention. I want her to sit around for 7 hours.
So you released her for the day then, basically?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I apologize if I overstepped. I just didn't want Miss Bowman to sit in the room by herself for 2.5 hours.
Making somebody sit in a room for 7 hours.
Yeah, I just didn't want to. I thought it was.
Usual punishment.
Well, we didn't. Yeah, exactly. I just didn't want to be. I don't want to be rude to Miss Bowman. So.
Is both sides going to tender their proposed tendered instructions for me that they would like to? Okay.
Yeah, we will do that for sure. When are you thinking?
I'd like to at least see what you got before we take up motions for directed verdict, things of that nature. What you got? I've got the form book and gone through it. But
Perhaps Thursday.
Yeah, that'd be great. I was just the conspiracy. There's actually one, but it's got so many blanks.
It does have a lot of blanks.
It's not complete, though. It doesn't have the second
Oh, the
part.
conspiracy charge. I was like, oh, is there conspiracy?
When I looked, I was like, man, who came up with this?
Does not deal with part
It doesn't
B
deal with part B.
at all. So
Yeah, it was very interesting and it had a lot of blanks. So there's a lot for us to fill in.
Yeah, that's right.
Anything else we take up? We call it a day. All right. So have a good night.
Thank
See you
you.
tomorrow.
You as well.
Frank and Carl. Court's in recess until 8:30 in the morning. Thank you.
All right. And that puts us in recess too, you guys.
We need one. Everything was admitted over there. Hey, Shane, you were going to do the redaction. Okay, give that to Frank.
Okay. Well, that's enough for us today. So a few things. I know that they have the issue. They raised this after the case too of everybody wearing pink for Team Crystal, and there really isn't anything they can do about that. Like, yeah, you're not allowed to have like buttons or people's faces, but there isn't really anything you're going to do about the color. But he did have to bring that up again for the record. I mean, I know sometimes lawyers have to bring up stuff that you're just like, really, but it is part of their job, you know, as representing their client zealously, you know, so they have to pick apart things like that. But in Brooks and Joseph's trial, there was a lot of pink in the audience. One lady was wearing pink all the time, but I honestly don't really think it means anything in this scenario. I don't think it would make a difference either way. What was the other? There was another thing that they brought up that I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'll remember to talk about that. And then I didn't remember. So don't be like Steve, okay? Don't be like Steve and run in your mouth to the cops, to everybody that'll listen. Just talking. Get a lawyer. Don't be like him, because you're going to learn real quick that that was not a good idea. It's not a good idea, Steve. Now, you guys, I am going to close up shop here because I have tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, me and the lovely Lady in Gray. She'll be back as my guest co-host this week while we finish up part 2 of the John List Nightmare. And if you're not familiar with that case, you can brush up before we come on live at 8. You can find part 1 from last week on there and catch up there. And then as for Couch Court with Llama, we will be back Monday at 10 a.m. for day 2 of Stephen Lawson's trial, which, oh yeah, there are going to be, Monday is going to be very interesting because some of the witnesses that will be on there we have not heard from. There's a witness in particular who does something during a break that certainly should not have happened. And I think it's very interesting to see how things kind of are going with this trial, which is before Brooks and Joseph's, and compare them to what we saw in Brooks and Joseph's just a month later. Y'all crazy shirt in black or pink. I'd prefer black, but speaking of black clothes, I have a lot of my clothes are black or shades of gray, which was great until we adopted our Norwegian L count. And now there's just dog hair all over everything I own. I can't put on a black shirt without it just being covered in dog hair. You got to be careful with those dual coat dogs. Though she's so fluffy and pretty. I love her. Yes, you guys. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Join us again tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you like Big Brother, join our Discord because I will be streaming the live eviction after our show. So I guess it won't be live by the time we get to watch it. But West Coasters, it's still earlier than when you get to. So with that, thank you guys so much for being here today. I will see you all later tonight or Monday morning. If I don't see you till then, make sure you have a wonderful weekend. Smell some peach. Buy some peaches from Sam's Club. I can't wait to get a sponsor. Everybody should have me sponsor them. I'm just kidding. All right. Until next time, you guys, go forth and be amazing. Bye, guys.